Alrighty, greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Andrew Kirchhoff, and welcome to our Sunday morning live stream for Week 3 of the 2025 fantasy football season. Over the course of the next 3 hours straight, we're talking all things fantasy football related in regards to starter sit questions. So if you guys do have a question, whether you're going to ask via the live stream chat, whether you're going to ask via super chat in order to claim priority, make sure you include your scoring format and, of course, your question, all the all-encompassing context that is required to answer said questions, whether it is, what other options do you have to potentially start? How does your roster look? What scoring format you're in? All of that context, if it is provided, it will help. In the long run, hopefully I'll be able to answer any and all questions as we go throughout the next 3 hours. But in case I'm not able to immediately or directly answer said questions, this is why I have these rankings here to the right side of the screen. On the right side of the screen, we have updated rankings like we do every single Sunday morning for the sole purpose of trying to answer individualized, interpositional rankings. So these are updated as of this morning. They do not include any Miami Dolphins or Buffalo Bills as they have already played this week. Therefore, I'm not including these players. So we have our updated top 36 running backs and wide receivers, updated top 16 quarterbacks and tight ends, and top 12 kickers and defenses, as you can see on screen. Now, again, if you guys want my all-encompassing rankings, whether it be a half PPR, full PPR, all that kind of jazz, you can find it via Patreon as of this morning. I posted those rankings for those of you who are members of the Patreon of the 2025 Fantasy Football Champion tier. And, of course, like I've mentioned before we get into today's live stream, again, for those of you who have already gone ahead and used the Betr sign-up, if I'm not mistaken, here it is, to sign up today using code Andrew, taking care of all that. Those emails have already been sent out this morning. The only thing I want to mention before I get into immediately answering some of these super chat questions, as for the wide receiver position, you are going to see Juwan Jennings here at number 36 with a questionable tag right there on the bottom right. Juwan Jennings is still a game time decision. I have no clue whether or not he is going to play. We will get further context regarding his status in the afternoon slate of games. So if you are in a position in which you do not have a flexible option to pivot away from him in the event in which he is not active, then at that point you may be looking to potentially just avoid him outright, as he did not practice a single time this week, and additionally is still a game time decision as he'll be testing out the ankle prior to the game starting. So again, with so much kind of up in the air regarding his availability for us, we'll have to just wait and see how it all transpires. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's get into it, shall we? All right, so let's begin with the first couple questions here. First one of the day comes in from Shooter McGavin. Thank you very much. Says, hi, Andrew. I need 2 wide receivers and 2 running backs and a singular flex in a half PPR scoring format. I got Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, Tootin, Scattaboo, Nico Pickens, Higgins, Pearsall, and Keenan Allen. Thanks. Okay. So considering the incredible options you do have, Josh Jacobs and Kenneth Walker clearing away the best place. Again, Kenneth Walker sits as my number 5 today because Zach Charbonnet did not practice this week, was given the doubtful designation. I've only maybe ever once in my entire time of doing YouTube videos regarding fantasy football, have I ever seen a player given the doubtful designation even play. So Jacobs and Kenneth Walker, your easy 1-2 combo. As for the other alternative options you have, I'm playing Nico Collins alongside of George Pickens and Keenan Allen for the rest of your team. That's the way I go about it. That's the lineup I would set. I believe, let's see, do I have Keenan ahead of... Yeah, Keenan 1 spot ahead of Higgins. So that is your flex going into this week, Shooter. Thank you. All right. Revelant sends in a question. It says, hey, what's up, Andrew? In a full PPR, do I start 1 wide receiver between Pickens, T-Mac? Okay, between the 2 of them, I would prefer to play Tedero McMillan. Even though I think both of them are going to have great weeks at a top 24 capacity, I think the advantage is in the favor of Tedero McMillan, primarily because the number 1 cornerback of the Atlanta Falcons, being A.J. Terrell, is out this week, gives him a pretty good advantage upon that secondary within the matchup, which again is going to be a negative game script. As for your next question, it says Dak or Penix. I would prefer to play Dak Prescott again. Considering all the injuries that have taken place or have kind of developed over the course of this week and designated out, whether it is members of the secondary of the Chicago Bears or even the Dallas Cowboys, both of those defenses are dealing with a lot of injuries. So both offenses should be able to find themselves very much so in an advantageous position. So yeah, Dak Prescott will be preferred there. I understand you might want to stack the Pickens/Prescott kind of situation. Personally, I could understand that, but I wouldn't suggest that. I'd still play T-Mac there. As to your final question here, Revelant, it says running backs. I need two of them between Montgomery, Mason, Kenneth Walker, Chubb. Yeah, it's very simple. You're going to play Kenneth Walker. You're going to play Jordan Mason. Fire it up. Your final question is 49ers or Vikings defense. I'll take the Vikings defense taking on the backup quarterback in Jake Browning. Thank you. Soul315 sends in a question. Thank you, Soul. Appreciate it. Says, am I crazy to start Keenan Allen and Evans over BTJ in London? I'm okay playing Evans over BTJ. I'm perfectly fine with that. Am I playing Keenan Allen over London? I'm probably not going about it that way. I'd still play London in this circumstance. As I currently have it ranked, I would play probably London, Evans, BTJ, Keenan Allen in that exact order. Thanks, Soul. Appreciate it. All right, let's see here. We had a question that comes in from Marty. Marty has two questions, actually back-to-back. I appreciate it, Marty. He says, first question, Pearsall or Ramondre? I think it depends on scoring format. What do you have here? It says PPR. Okay, so if we're talking about a PPR format, in the event in which we had Juwan Jennings 100% designated out, going into this, this weekend slate of games, I think I'd be a little bit more comfortable with the potential of just suggesting Pearsall here. But considering the New England Patriots play in the morning slate of games, and we're not 100% certain as to what Juwan Jennings' status is, I'm just going to lean towards playing Ramondre there over Pearsall. Just as like a preventative kind of, I guess, just to get ahead of it. Solid matchup, great running back, gets himself good opportunity share. That's who I'll suggest. As for your secondary question, it says Genty, AJ Brown, or Tetero McMillan in a full PPR. Let me see where I have them ranked against one another in my Patreon rankings right now. All right, so as of this current moment, I have AJ Brown right there. I have Tetero McMillan right there. Yeah, I'd just play Ashton Genty out of the group. Thank you. As for your next slate of questions, you have Ridley, Henderson, or Scatterbo. Between the three in a full PPR, let me see where I have Ridley. I think I'm going to assume he's likely the highest ranked. Yes, he is. I would play Calvin Ridley there. Thank you. All right, we had a question that comes in from Eric Sanchez. Eric, thank you very much. It says half PPR, start one wide receiver and one flex between Egbuka, Hollywood, Ridley, Kupp, and Judkins. Okay, if I'm playing two of these options in a half PPR scoring format, I would play Egbuka alongside of Marquise Hollywood Brown. Thank you. Anvesh sends in a question. Thank you very much, Anvesh. Says in a full PPR, pick two between Sutton, Keenan Allen, Tillman, Tracy. Okay, so first and foremost, looking at those available options, Sutton and Keenan Allen are the best available players. Those are the two you fire up. As to your next question, tight end Strange or Fannin, I would play Harold Fannin Jr. Thank you, Anvesh. Appreciate it. We move on to the next question. Comes in from Santana Torres, who says, Egbuka, Hunter, or JCM in the flex in a full PPR. I don't really want to play Travis Hunter as long as I can avoid, as long as I can afford to not play him and just keep him on my bench. That's the direction that I would like to at least position myself this week. As for Egbuka versus JCM in a full PPR, I believe I have Egbuka ranked higher. I will confirm this. Yeah, Egbuka is ranked higher. That's the direction I'm going in. Now, I know many of you may be asking, and I'm sure you probably are as of right now in regards to the live stream chat. Egbuka's status has kind of gone up in two different directions as of this last 24 hours. There was an initial report yesterday afternoon in regards to Egbuka is going to be playing with no limitations. Then earlier this morning, there comes out a report where it's going to be Egbuka actually going to be limited. This is the thing. From my experience, this is just anecdotal experience that I have seen and been able to kind of absorb over the course of the last couple of years here. Whenever we have Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport come out and specifically speak to the volume of opportunities a player is going to see within an upcoming performance, I would say about 90% of the time they're incorrect. Primarily because teams are not going to share with those specific reporters how much usage a player is going to get, because honestly, there's no advantage to that. Quite frankly, there just isn't. So I'm not really going to buy in too much on the idea. If he's playing and he's active, I have him expected to play at a full capacity. I wouldn't expect anything less than that. So just so we're all on the same page as to why I have the rankings as such for someone like Egbuka, currently ranked in that position. Thank you. Okay. We continue on with the question that comes in for Mando Jr. 97. Thank you very much, sir. It says start two. McLaurin, Pearsall, Ridley, Dobbs, Franklin. Okay. Of those available options, my two highest ranked technically are McLaurin and Pearsall. That's the direction I'd lean in as of this week. In the event in which you were, let's see. Let me just check something really quickly in terms of you have Ridley there. Okay, but Ridley plays in the morning slate, and I'm willing to wait. So let's say, for example, you have an opportunity. Okay, so I would for sure play McLaurin this week out of the available options you have. Mando. Now, as for the potential opportunity of playing Pearsall, I'm going to lean towards Pearsall as of right now. In the event in which we have Jawan Jennings inactive, Pearsall still to play. In the event in which Jawan Jennings is active, in the event in which he is active, I wouldn't mind pivoting to Troy Franklin at that point, assuming it's a full PPR. But if it's a half or standard, just stick with Pearsall at that point. Thank you. Jeff Whitfield sends in a question. Thank you, Jeff. Says Egbuka no limitations versus the New York Jets or Mason versus Cincinnati. Yeah, I'm going to still lean towards playing Jordan Mason in this circumstance. I think Jordan Mason with a full workload of opportunity is probably going to be leaned upon pretty heavily by this offense, considering, again, you have Carson Wentz at quarterback. And as a coaching staff, I'm sure they're trying to limit how much Carson Wentz is going to be able to dictate whether or not they win or lose this game. I think they want to be able to kind of just control the game, control the pacing with the run game. So Mason should be expected for a huge role here in the absence of Aaron Jones. Thank you. T. King sends in a question, says, good morning. Kraft or Fannin at tight end? I mean, look, as of right now, considering Kraft is expected to play, I'm going to lean in his direction. Again, Harold Fannin is, just like I expressed last week and how we'll continue to kind of assume his value to be presently set, he is going to catch the ball 4 to 5 times. He's going to average his 9 to 10 yards per reception. So he is pretty much a 4 catches for 40 yards or 5 catches for 50 yards kind of player. In the event in which he scores a touchdown, fantastic. But against the Green Bay Packers, again, the likelihood of being able to predict who scores for the Cleveland Browns, if they even score at all today, is very difficult. So I'd still lean towards playing Kraft in this circumstance, as he is, of course, the primary number one amongst, those members of the Green Bay Packers offense in which Jordan spreads the love to. As for your other question, it says Swift, Diggs, Judkins, Henderson, Scadaboo, or Tootin in a flex PPR. I'm going to lean towards playing DeAndre Swift as of right now. He is the preferred of the bunch. Again, I know that he's currently dealing with a quote-unquote quad injury, but this isn't something that is of a concern of mine. Based on the reports, based on his practice tendencies, it seems as if it is more of a precautionary measure that they've kind of kept him limited in practice rather than something of a serious nature in which we have to be worried about it. So Swift is the play there, T. King. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hugo sends in a question. Thank you, Hugo. Says, I traded Kamara and Devontae Smith for Genty and Quentin Johnston. Okay. I'm going to assume QJ is Quentin Johnston and not Quinshon Judkins. It could be either of the two, but just considering you're trading running back wide receiver for running back wide receiver, I'd assume it's Johnston. What's your take on this trade in a half PPR 12-team league? Well, as of right now, if you can look at my wide receiver rankings, I don't even have Devontae Smith ranked. He's actually my number 37 and a half PPR, primarily because I'm scared absolutely out of my mind to potentially play him, typically because just the offense throws the ball 20 times a game. And if they're going to throw 20 times a game, there's probably not very much room for Devontae Smith to get the ample opportunity share that he requires to be at an incredibly relevant fantasy point unless he scores a touchdown. So as of right now, the way that offense is constructed, I do prefer Genty over Kamara. I don't mind the idea of going after Genty, and Quentin Johnston, who is associated with an offense, is going to be lighting it up and, of course, looking in his direction often. So, yeah, I prefer the Genty side rest of the season. Thank you. Gabriella sends in a question. Thank you very much, Gabriella. Says, PPR, should I start T. Higgins? Yeah, I don't mind starting T. Higgins at all. Says, my starters are currently Sutton, T-Mac, and Nico Collins. Well, okay. In comparison to those alternative options, I do prefer all three of those wide receivers over T. Higgins this weekend. So to answer your question, should you be starting him over your options? No. And then also your other question was Jaylen Warren or George Pickens. Okay, let's see where I have them accordingly ranked to one another in a full PPR so that I can go ahead and lead you in the right direction. Let's see where I have Jaylen Warren. Okay, so as it currently stands between Jaylen Warren and George Pickens, I'm going to lean towards playing Jaylen Warren this week. Thank you very much in the flex. Yeah, look, again, the primary reason with Jaylen Warren is, again, if he's going to be exposed to any sort of goal line opportunity share, that kind of baked in value on top of the volume of touches he's already going to be exposed to, which is probably about 15 over the course of this game, pretty strong. So, I mean, I always lean towards kind of preferring the running back in this circumstance unless the wide receiver is going to get themselves an incredible amount of receptions, which George Pickens isn't really one of those receivers where he's a possession guy. He's more of a, or not possession guy. He's more of a, I'm going to make deep plays down the field. I'm going to have a couple huge catches here and there. I'm going to pull a lot of defensive pass interference. I'm not going to be littered with 10 targets. That's the only issue. So there's a chance that Jaylen Warren catches just as many passes as Pickens today. So I'll lean in that direction. As for your follow-up question, it says also Warren or Swift at the flex. Yeah, if we're talking about the same Jaylen Warren in comparison to DeAndre Swift, I will also lean towards Jaylen Warren in that circumstance as well, Gabriella. Thank you. No Love Matt sends in a question. Matt, hope you're doing well this morning. Good morning. Says in a half PPR, should I play Lad McConkey with BTJ, George Pickens in a shootout, or Egbuka, who is sounding like he's on a snap count? Yeah, again, I am not of the belief that the speculations and or the proclamations of one Adam Schefter are to be taken word for word as to what the actual game plan and the usage of these players are going to be. Again, they wouldn't share the information with him as there's no competitive advantage in doing so. So, in regards to your current question, though, I would play Lad McConkey with BTJ. If I was starting your lineup and I was pretty much I had your phone, I was setting the lineup, Lad McConkey and BTJ are my 1-2 combo there. Thank you. Hakeem sends in a question. Thank you, Hakeem. Says Brown, Taylor, Kamara, Taylor, start 2 and flex 1. Okay, so you mentioned 2 Taylors in this situation, Hakeem. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go into the live chat here. And I'm going to see if you maybe had a correction in this circumstance. Because as of right now, yeah, there's no correction in this circumstance. So not sure if you meant to include Taylor twice. Is there another Taylor in the league that I'm not aware of? Yeah, that's just Tyrod Taylor and Jonathan Taylor. So unless you're playing in a super flex, I would venture to say you may have made a mistake in this circumstance here, Akeem. So if you want to do me a favor and let me know who that alternative option is supposed to be, that'd be great. Otherwise, Brown, Taylor, Kamara, start all 3 of them and you're good to go. Senshi sends in a question, says, should I trade A.J. Brown, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Jacoby Myers for Alvin Kamara, Emeka Egbuka, and David Montgomery? Okay, this is a very intriguing question. It says, I need a running back help in a full PPR. Like, I understand that you need running back help, but I think in a vacuum, first and foremost, in a vacuum, I don't like the trade. So if you would give me more context as to what your wide receiver depth look like, Senshi, because yes, theoretically you're getting back Egbuka, but I don't know if you have enough wide receiver depth to be able to feel comfortable to make this trade. So I think there's more context required to be able to feel one way or the other. As it currently stands, with the current context of the vacuum of the 6 players that you mentioned that this trade will entail, I'd actually prefer to keep the AJB side. Hope he goes for a bigger performance in the not too distant future, then try to trade him for a better potential running back exchange in this circumstance. Because otherwise, Myers in a PPR, very valuable. Bill Krosky-Merritt is going to be very valuable going forward. And I'm not sure if that wide receiver depth of yours can sustain a move of this capacity. Marco Jacinto sends in a question. Thank you, Marco. Good morning. Says PPR, Egbuka, Hollywood, Pollard. Why Hollywood? I'm not really playing Hollywood. I mean, am I playing Hollywood? Let's see here. I mean, if I'm going to, theoretically speaking, it's primarily because of the insane volume of receptions he could theoretically be exposed to. Where do I have Pollard comparatively? Okay. So I have Hollywood and Pollard back-to-back ranked. Honestly, if you want to flip a coin on that, that's how you go about it. But I have both of them ahead of Egbuka, not by a considerable margin. They're all ranked within 5 rankings, 51 to 55. Currently, Hollywood technically sits at number 1 because there's no Xavier Worthy. And because of no Xavier Worthy, he could be probably exposed to a pretty good opportunity share of receptions. So it's really just a matter of Hollywood. Is he going to get that 6-7 reception count that we could very easily see? Or is Pollard going to fall into the end zone? That's really just the question as it currently stands. Based on projections, I have Hollywood very slightly ahead of Tony Pollard. Thank you. Luke C. sends in a question. It says Mariota over Darnold, Knicks. Yeah, in a 5-point per passing touchdown league. In a 5-point per passing touchdown league, I'd still be okay going with Mariota. Again, Mariota in the last couple seasons of his career, when he's been a spot start, whether it's for Washington or for alternative teams, even for, when he played for the Raiders a little bit, even when he played for the Atlanta Falcons prior to him getting benched, he's been a solid fantasy quarterback because of the rushing upside that is consistently going to be there. So, I mean, even when he stepped in for Jalen Hurts a couple years ago when he was a member of the Eagles, again, he's played for a lot of teams. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, Mariota is the preferred out of the group, specifically because of the matchup against the Raiders, and additionally because he has that rushing upside ability. And even in a 5-point per passing touchdown format, I would still lean in his direction as I expect him to perform, pretty well, considering how well this offense has kind of functioned, even in the absence of Jaden Daniels. Dave sends in a question, says Hollywood or Judkins in the flex. I'm not really excited about playing Judkins today. I think if Judkins got himself a lot of receiving workload, he could potentially flip the script in my mind in terms of the potential upside that he could, find for fantasy purposes. But considering that Green Bay Packers defense is going to be swarming, 7 hats on the ball at every single tackle kind of situation here, I'm going to lean towards Hollywood. And then also your follow-up question was Samson. Drop Samson for Najee Harris. I'd be very comfortable doing so. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. Thank you. Mr. Buffalo Bill sends in a question. Says full PPR Judkins, Hampton, Debo, DJ Moore, pick one. If I have to pick one of the group, I would feel most comfortable playing Debo Samuel. Again, whenever you're averaging 7 receptions per game and 9 of your 14 receptions are behind the line of scrimmage, it is pretty much just a constructed offense to get you the ball consistently. So with this being the situation of the Washington Commanders' attack and approach, it's not going to disappear because the quarterback position has changed. I expect Marcus Mariota, who again is my number 12 ranked quarterback this week, of the remaining quarterbacks, of course, when we remove Josh Allen from Thursday night. Debo is my preferred of the group. The second best option in my mind would be DJ Moore in a full PPR. Thank you. Powerhouse sends in a question. Thank you very much, Powerhouse. Says in a pick 2 half PPR circumstance, we have Cooper Kupp, Marvin Harrison, Cortland Sutton. Yeah, give me Marvin Harrison and Cortland Sutton in this situation. I got to look for touchdown upside. If you were playing in a full PPR, we could have the discussion as to whether or not Cooper Kupp can sustain his value that he presented last week. But in the meanwhile, considering we're not in that kind of situation here and we're talking half PPR, we're looking for touchdown upside. And I think the 2 other wide receivers, Sutton and Marvin Harrison, provide a little bit more potential within that range. Thank you. Antonio Garcia sends in a question. Thank you very much, Antonio. Says, I'm in a 12-team, full PPR super flex. My team currently consists of Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence, Christian McCaffrey, Chase Brown, Javonte Williams, Brian Robinson, Travion Henderson, CeeDee Lamb-Odunze, JSN, Diggs, Downs, Coleman. Was offered Herbert, Ladd, Hunter, Harvey for Caleb, Odunze, Diggs, and Javonte. Okay, let me look at this as a whole. Ladd, Odunze, okay. Diggs, Hunter, Yeah, no. I would rather keep what you currently have on roster. What they are offering you is a scam, and it is fool's gold. Having to give away Javonte in this circumstance for a downgrade at quarterback in my mind, but not only that, a potential downgrade at both wide receiver positions, assuming Odunze continues to be the clear and away number 1 of the Chicago Bears offense, considering the rapport he has built with Caleb Williams. I think this is a trade that you have no interest in unless you're getting back a significantly better running back in comparison to Harvey, because giving away Javonte here, I don't think the value is met in terms of the alternative positional kind of trades. I don't think you're upgrading elsewhere. So Javonte just doesn't make sense. You keep it as is, Antonio. You're good to go, my man. Thank you very much. All right, Luis Garcia sends in a question. Luis, what's up? Says JCM for McLaurin. JCM 4. So if you're giving away McLaurin theoretically and you're getting Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, I have no issue with that. Now the question is, what does your depth look like at running back? It says my running backs are JT, Chuba Hubbard, Tracy, and JCM. My wide receivers are Lamb, Adams, London, Jennings, Pearsall, Downs. Okay, so you're basically trading JCM for McLaurin. So you're getting McLaurin. Okay. Now I'm glad I understand that. So let's think about this. Hold up. Okay. Sorry about that. Let me think here. In terms of, do you need Terry McLaurin? I personally don't think you need the move, ultimately, because when I look at your roster, right, you have 2 functioning running backs, Jonathan Taylor and Chuba Hubbard. Tracy is not a functioning running back. He is pretty much a committee contributor in a PPR in which we hope he gets 5 receptions in a given week. JCM is your RB3. And I think you're going to need that for the upcoming bye weeks and the potential of upcoming injuries that may, potentially plague your team. So as of right now, I don't think this is a wise move on your end. I think if I was going to move JCM, I would want a running back in exchange. And considering you're only getting McLaurin, I'm not as keen to make a move of this caliber. Thank you, Luis. Appreciate it. The S-Box sends in a question. It says, pick 2 in a PPR flex between Judy, Franklin, Scadaboo. In a full PPR, I'll take both of the wide receivers. Give me Judy and give me Franklin. Thank you. Jake Whitling sends in a question. Thank you, Jake. Says in a 12-team full PPR, should I start Shaheed Montgomery, Harold Fannin in my second flex spot? Okay, let me see where I have Rashid Shaheed in comparison to the group. All right, where is Mr. Montgomery? I think I have David Montgomery ranked higher. Yeah, As of right now, I have David Montgomery ranked at the highest of the group. The primary reason why I do is because I specifically even looked at it yesterday because I was curious as to what the potential of David Montgomery was in a potential matchup that could be a shootout. Anytime we have seen games between the Lions and any other team in which we have a shootout, so either team scoring over 25 points, or both teams actually scoring over 25 points in the 2024 season, Montgomery scored a touchdown in every single one of those games. So I'm assuming he'll fall into the end zone in this circumstance, make himself a pretty well-known 10-point option within the week. As to how much yardage he's able to gather, again, he's typically aligned for like 40, 50 yards. Falls into the end zone for a tutty. I think that's a pretty good fair assumption in this circumstance. So yeah, I'll lean towards Monty there. Thank you. Tom Brady sends in a question, says, hi, my question is on Patreon DM. Okay, let me go ahead and check that out right now. I didn't have time earlier this morning to specifically look at some of the questions via Patreon. I assumed, a lot of the rankings that I posted were going to lead to your potential, but let's figure this out. Okay, Easton, let's see what you have here, brother. Says, I'm currently 2-0. This is my current team. All right, let's see here. What is your question? It says, I'm worried about JSN's illness and Myers' production, debating whether to start Moore or Pearsall instead of either. Yeah, look, as of right now, the current JSN illness, because we don't know the exact situation, we know that he's playing, and that's all I need to know. If he's active and he's ready to go, I'm firing him up. I'm not really going to be like, hey, you know what, I have to hold him out because he had a stomach ache earlier this week. Who knows, right? So as of this point, because we don't have as much context regarding that, I'm blind starting JSN. There's no way I'm leaving him on my bench in any capacity. I'd play him alongside a Rome Odunze. As for your flexible option between the availables that you do have, considering you're playing in a PPR, you kind of have to play Jakobi Meyers because, again, he is going to be given that 10 targets of opportunity. If he's able to haul in anywhere between 6 to 8 catches, which he typically is, you're in line for a double-digit fantasy point week minimum, if not the potential of him scoring a touchdown and getting an even greater potential for upside. So in this situation, am I considering starting DJ Moore? Sure, because of the injuries that have taken place to that secondary in Dallas, where Deron Bland is going to miss a second consecutive game. Trayvon Diggs is questionable, and a game time decision. Those make him a little bit more of an appealing option, but I would still lean towards playing Jakobi Meyers with all that context. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, let's see here. We had a question that came in from Leap Link AFF, who says PPR, flex, James Conner, DJ Moore, Emeka Egbuka. I believe I have James Conner ranked the highest. Let me confirm this really quickly, and I will let you know. You have DJ Moore, you have Emeka Egbuka. Yeah. As it currently stands, James Conner is my number one. Typically, what we have seen over the course of the last couple seasons when the 49ers have taken on the Arizona Cardinals game plan specifically has been run heavy and being able to try to control the clock. We have seen that consistently in the form of James Conner. Considering James Conner in this most recent 2 weeks hasn't been heavily utilized in the second half of games because they have had a mounted lead, and they've really just kind of spread the ball between him and Trey Benson in terms of just kill the clock with either of them and just try to limit the overall touches of James Conner to keep him healthy, of course, because you have a 17-game season ahead. I think this is one of the games in which James Conner gets unleashed in terms of a greater workload of opportunity and should be the clean option of the bunch. Thank you. Adam sends in a question, says, in a full PPR 10-team league, in my flex, do I play A.J. Brown or Tony Pollard? In a full PPR, I'd feel more confident playing A.J. Brown. Tony Pollard would have to objectively just fall into the end zone because his opportunity share within the receiving category, it's just not present. He's coming off of a game in which he had 0 targets. The week before, only 1 target. So considering Cam Ward's not really looking in his direction as a check down potential kind of play every single week to kind of get him 3 or 4 catches, his upside, or at least baseline of production, is a little bit lessened in comparison to a lot of the other running backs in the group. So between him and A.J. Brown, I'd lean towards Brown in this circumstance. Says, I also traded away Barkley and Chase Brown for Genty. Wait. I traded away Barkley for Chase Brown and Genty. Bad trade, question mark. Only time will tell. I mean, look, as of right now, if Genty is going to find himself the top 6 upside that we expected him to find in due time, then again, it could be a trade in which it's very beneficial for you. I think this is a kind of wait and see. Obviously, trading away Saquon Barkley is obviously a very difficult thing to do, considering how well he has played thus far. But yeah, I hope all the best in this situation for you, and then hopefully Chase Brown and Genty play up to the expectations in which we had preseason of them. Ryan Kramer sends in a question, says PPR Superflex start 2 between Henderson, London, Penix, Young, Booty, Fannin, Io Manor. Okay, so of the available, I have to play 2 quarterbacks. I don't think I'm going to be in a position to which I play London. I'm playing both the quarterbacks. Give me Penix, give me Young. That's who I go with. Anytime I have the opportunity of playing a quarterback, they could easily score 15 points with their eyes closed. So considering I expect this to be a little bit of a higher scoring game and both offenses should be able to find success, primarily Penix early in the game in the opportunities that he is given, and then eventually in the garbage time with Young, I think that's a solid play. Now, in the event in which you're like, Andrew, I'm not really too comfortable playing Young, that's fine. Just play Penix alongside of Young. Play Penix alongside of London and just roll with the stack. Thank you. Jared Smith sends in a question. Says, I'm currently 2-0, winning in a full PPR league. I have Lamar, Gibbs, Swift, Puka, Neighbors, Kelsey, Flowers, and Jameson Williams. Should I trade away Lamar for Mahomes and Mason thinking long term? I don't mind the trade look, there's an inherent gamble there, right? And we're both aware of it. That's why you're asking the question, because there's a chance in which Mason in the next 4 weeks is productive enough to where he is an immediate top, 15 option rest of season because of the contributions he makes in the absence of Jordan Mason. And even after Aaron Jones returns, once he returns, if Mason has done enough in the last 4 weeks, Aaron Jones may be on the outside looking in terms of majority of the overall workload of this backfield. So I don't mind it because of the running back depth, but there's a very high margin of gamble. And if Mahomes does not keep up his rushing yardage, which I guarantee you he will not, it's going to hurt really badly once Mahomes goes from averaging 22 to 16. And then additionally, Mason goes from a starter to a committee back. There's just so much inherent risk. I mean, I don't know. As of right now, I probably just keep Lamar because I'm deathly afraid of just imagine, right? In the last 2 weeks, Mahomes has scored 12 points per game just off of rushing statistics. So if you eliminate the rushing touchdown and maybe 30 of those rushing yards, you eliminate 9 points from his point totals. If the running game of the Chiefs starts to build up here, or if Mahomes tweaks an ankle and he cannot run anymore, he's a non-factor in fantasy at that point, to which would scare the crap out of me rest of the season. Thank you. Blue Sneeze sends in a question. Says PPR, pick running backs and flex between Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker, Jacoby Myers. Cool. If I was going to pick, or if I was just going to order it as it currently stands, like Kenneth Walker's my number 1 running back, and then Javonte Williams would be my number 1 flex here of the available options. So if you can pick another option outside of this group, I'd probably play Chase Brown, and I just go with all 3 running backs if I had the choice, 3 out of the 4. Thank you. All right, 1 sends in a question. 1 says, pick 2 in the flex, PPR, Troy Franklin, Rashid Shaheed, Jerry Jeudy, and Matthew Golden. Okay, let me see where I have them ranked. So as it currently stands, Troy Franklin number 1, Jerry Jeudy number 2, Rashid Shaheed number 3, Matthew Golden number 4. That's the way that I would go about it, and that's how I currently have it ranked. Therefore, my suggestion this week is playing Franklin and Jeudy. Thank you. All right. Mark sends in a question. Thank you very much, Mark. Good morning. Says, picked up Goddard off of the waivers. Would you package Goddard and J-Mo Williams for Pickens? I have Bowers. Also pick. Okay, so let's first and foremost, let's answer this question. Am I willing to ship off Goddard with J-Mo for Pickens, considering you picked up Goddard off of the waiver wire? I don't have an issue with that at all. I think, again, there is more competition for touches within the Detroit Lions offense. J-Mo, again, the most recent weeks of opportunity share looking like 5 and 4 targets isn't the greatest number. So yeah, I don't have an issue with that in terms of picking George Pickens as the better rest of season value in this current circumstance. And considering you have Bowers, you can afford to make the move. I have no issue with that. Now, as for your other question, pick rest of season Kamara, Brees, and ETN. I still have Kamara ranked the highest of the group. Thank you. We move on to a question that comes in from Steve, who says in a half PPR, 1 wide receiver from Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Ricky Pearsall. As it currently stands in a half PPR, like it is ranked on screen. Again, really quickly, a reminder, for those of you joining us this morning, welcome, good morning. The rankings to the right side of the screen are updated as of this morning in regards to interpositional half PPR rankings. updated from the weekly ranking videos. So these are players that, again, have not played yet. So I've removed all Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins, and the rankings that are on screen are for a half PPR as of this morning. Therefore, your question specifically, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Ricky Pearsall, we have on the right side, number 23, DJ Moore, number 27, Keenan Allen, and number 33, Ricky Pearsall. I have Jauan Jennings, as you saw, on my bottom right as our number 36 as a questionable tag because I do not know whether or not he is going to play. In the event in which he does, he's my number 36, and Pearsall sits at number 33. In the event in which there is no Jauan Jennings, then at that point, there is a discussion to where I would be feeling pretty comfortable playing Ricky Pearsall over all of them. Now, considering, I'm just going to put this out there, considering the 3 players you mentioned here, Steve, are Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Ricky Pearsall. Keenan Allen plays at 1:05 p.m. PST. Ricky Pearsall plays at 1:25 p.m. PST. DJ Moore plays at 1:25 p.m. PST. So you're going to wait until about noon PST to know the status of Jauan Jennings. In the event in which Jauan Jennings is out, fire up Ricky Pearsall. In the event in which he is in, play DJ Moore. Thank you. And then it says, also, I can flex any one of the wide receivers above or Ramondre. Also, Fannin or Ertz. I would prefer to play Zach Ertz because Marcus Mariota has made a career of targeting the tight end position, whether we go back to his days with the Tennessee Titans and Delaney Walker, or whether we talk about his most recent seasons with the Atlanta Falcons, in which he was able to help a He was able to help not only Kyle Pitts, but also Jonnu Smith in that year, both be top 20 tight ends for fantasy purposes. So a lot of opportunities in those directions. In regards to the opportunities of Ramondre in comparison to those alternatives, let me see where I have Ramondre Stevenson ranked accordingly, and then I will give you the indication as to which way I'm going. So as it stands, okay, where is DJ Moore? Yeah, so as it currently stands, I would prefer to play DJ Moore and Ricky Pearsall over Ramondre Stevenson. Oh, this is a half PPR question. My apologies. Now, this changes a lot of stuff. Hold on. Let me get to the half PPR. Let me go to Stevenson now in my flex rankings. Okay. Still going to play DJ Moore there. In the event in which you have an opportunity to play Ricky and DJ, that's the way it goes. Otherwise, you play DJ Moore alongside of Ramondre in the event in which Jauan Jennings is active. Hopefully that makes sense. It should. Thank you. Molly G sends in a question. Says, in a full PPR, pick 2, Dunze, Kyron, or Cortland Sutton. Okay, of the available options, in a full PPR, pick 2 scenario, I currently have a Dunze ranked the highest of the group, so that's the clear and away play. Now, as for Kyron Williams and Cortland Sutton, I currently have Kyron Williams ranked higher. That's the direction I would go in. A Dunze Kyron, thank you. Grind Don't Stop 007 sends in a question. Thank you very much. Says, in a half PPR, I traded Jacobs/Pickens for Jamar Chase. What do you think? I think if you have the running back depth to be able to afford a trade of this capacity or caliber, I don't have an issue with it. That's the only concern I would ever have, is if I'm getting rid of a running back and I'm not bringing one back in exchange, that always concerns me because, again, running back depth is incredibly vital to fantasy success. But as a whole, in a vacuum, I have no problem with this trade, under the assumption that, again, that depth is, obtained already with the decisions that you made earlier this season based on your draft and the players you have on roster. Thank you. Tom Brady sends in a follow-up question. Says the following. Let me see where your question went. Tom Brady or Easton. Let's see. I'm trying to find your question, brother. I don't even know where it went. My YouTube's like, okay, there we go. It says Mariota and Debo or Wilson and Wandell. I would rather play Mariota and Debo rather than Russell Wilson and Wandell Robinson. That's the direction I'd rather go in, primarily because of the matchup. I don't really love the idea of playing Russell against the Kansas City Chiefs, even though, like, as of right now, I have Russell Wilson ranked as my number. Where is he? Yeah, I don't have him relatively highly ranked, so I'll lean towards the Mariota side there. Thank you. Again, if you remember the Patreon, guys, remember that the rankings were posted earlier today on the main page of my Patreon. They're available, so you can go and you can download them there. I've put a Excel sheet and I put 2 screenshots for both half and full PPR all-encompassing rankings. They're available there on the page. And for those of you who signed up using code Andrew via Betr, made that first-time deposit minimum of $10 and made that first-time play minimum of $1 within real cash play, those emails have also been sent out earlier this morning around about 3 a.m. while I was awake. So Check your spam folder if, in fact, you do not receive those rankings. And if you do not receive those rankings and they're still not in your spam folder, you can shoot me an email to the email I have in the description of the video, and we can help settle your situation in a future week so that you can get those for the remainder of the season. Thank you. All right, we had a question that comes in from Let's Go Buffalo, who says in a half PPR flex, Pitts, Ridley, Renfro, Fannin, Tootin. Of the available in a half PPR scoring format, let me see where I have Pitts in comparison to Ridley. I think that's really just the head-to-head matchup that I'm most intrigued about potentially here. As it currently stands, I have Calvin Ridley ranked the highest of the group, Pitts number 2, and then it would probably end up being, where's Fannin? Yeah, it doesn't even matter. If you're only playing one of them, it's either Pitts or Ridley, and I have Ridley ranked higher. Thank you. Senior Kickoff sends in a question. It says PPR pick 2 between DK, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, or ETN. If it's my team, I'm playing ETN alongside of DK Metcalf. Thank you. Stranger Bricks sends in a question. It says pick 2 in a standard scoring format. Thomas, Pickens, Egbuka. I could understand the intrigue and or the potential desire to want to play Pickens and Egbuka alongside of one another. And I wouldn't even blame you for doing so, but I feel like leaving Brian Thomas Jr. on the bench could be seen as an irresponsible approach for fantasy purposes. So I'm going to lean towards playing BTJ alongside of George Pickens there this week. Thank you, Stranger. Scott Simon sends in a question. Scott, hope you're doing well. Long time no see, man. Says, I've got Laporta and Warren. Start one. Have the other as the flex over Debo, Pickens, or Connor. Not really too interested in playing the other over one of those alternative options. I really like the idea of playing Connor within your flex this week against that 49ers defense. So if I was going to play either Warren or Laporta, I'd lean towards playing Tyler Warren because, again, what he's presented. I don't even mind the idea of playing Laporta based on the fact that they play against the Baltimore Ravens, and that is one of the best matchups at the tight end position. So ultimately, both are fantastic plays, but if I was going to play one, and then, of course, the flex, I'm playing Tyler Warren at tight end. I'm playing James Conner in the flex. As for your follow-up question, says Puka, Nico at wide receiver, Brown and ETN at running backs, 1 point per reception. Yeah, as of right now, I leave it as is. Give me Warren and Connor there, and let's ride. Let me see. Yeah, that's the way I'd go about it. Let me just make sure where I have Connor in comparison to like Debo in my full PPR. Yeah, I just keep it as is. You're good to go there, my man. Appreciate it. All right, we continue on with a question that comes in from Shane Tetzlaff, who says, in a half PPR, pick 1 between Diggs, Henderson, Benson, and Mooney. Okay, so Diggs is still on a bit of a snap count. He's only played about 50% of the snaps in each of the last 2 games. I will mention this again. I mentioned it in yesterday's live stream in which I conducted here on the channel, and I want to reiterate kind of my thoughts on Stephon Diggs. After we get to about week 4 concluding, I expect Stephon Diggs from week 5 and on to get himself a far greater opportunity share, not only in terms of snaps, but target opportunity. Thus far this season, he's playing about 50% of the offensive snaps because they are still working him back on the ramp-up process from the ACL that he sustained last season. So Diggs is a player that I'm trying to buy low at the moment because I truly do believe that in 2 weeks' time, he's going to be at a far greater value point in comparison to where he currently stands. And again, when he's only playing 50% of the offensive snaps and still getting 4, 5, 6 catches a game, that's a pretty good value point in comparison to what he's going to be able to produce future once obviously those snaps go up. Now, am I playing him this week? No, I would not like to play him this week. Of the available options, I'd lean towards playing Henderson. Thank you. Let's see here. Tic Tac sends in a question. Convince me why the Vikings and Commanders over the Buccaneers defense. Tyrod Taylor's an actual good quarterback. That's the primary reason why. I have a very difficult time just assuming that Tyrod Taylor is going to be just the worst. When we have seen him play in a spot start kind of scenario, he always comes in and always performs well. I even considered moving the I even considered moving the Buccaneers out of my top 12 defenses because I was scared that Tyrod Taylor might ruin my afternoon. So that's the primary reason why I'm not as keen on potentially, I'm not as excited about the Buccaneers in comparison to these alternative options. And Mr. Geno Smith arm punting a couple interceptions here and there. And of course, Jake Browning with his 3 interceptions in quite literally 2.5 quarters last week. If you're going to throw an interception per quarter, really going to do a lot of help for an elite already defense in the Vikings. So in this circumstance, when we're talking about interceptions, taking care of the ball, pass rush rates, and the ability to get home to the quarterback, I'm leaning towards the Vikings and the Commanders in comparison to the Bucs comparatively. All right, let's see here. Siobhan Walker sends in a question. Says, Big Dog, what are we doing with Mixon? What are we doing with Mixon? You're praying. You're hoping. I was thinking about dropping him from the kid from Chicago. No, I don't want my nun guy for Mixon. I'd rather hold on to the lottery ticket of what Mixon could provide. And do we bench Kyler for Caleb? Yeah, I would bench Kyler for Caleb. I mean, again, as of right now, I don't think there's a better opportunity to play Caleb Williams except for this week. Like, the opportunity to play against the Dallas Cowboys defense that just gave up 400 passing yards to Russell Wilson. Now they're at home. There's an opportunity for Caleb Williams to get his get back against his former head coach, who is now the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys. The Cowboys' primary 2 cornerbacks, DeRon Bland, number 1, is already designated out. Trayvon Diggs is expected to potentially be a game-time decision, could be out. In the event in which your top 2 cornerbacks are out and you're taking on a revenge games kind of scenario here, Caleb's trying to find his first victory with, of course, his new head coach. I do prefer Caleb. Now, I'm not going to act like Kyler's not a great play. He is a great play this week. Anytime he's taken on the 49ers in the last couple seasons here, he's found himself a relatively strong volume of success, especially in 2024. In both those games, over 24 fantasy points in a 4-point per passing touchdown league. So it's not like he's a pushover either. He's just, in my mind, a lesser play because I think they'll lean upon the running game a lot today. Thank you. Easy E sends in a question, says, hi, Andrew, question in the chat. Okay, Easy E, let me go ahead and write your name down. If you could do me a favor and retype in your question, that'd be appreciated. Thanks, my man. Brandon O'Leary sends in a question. Brandon, thank you. Says, in a half PPR, flex 1, Franklin, Judy, Benson, Io Manor. Of the available options here, let me see where I have them ranked in a half PPR. Let's go half. Let's go to wide receiver. I currently have Troy Franklin ranked the highest of the group. So Franklin will be number 1. Judy would be number 2. Io Manor would be 3. Benson would be 4. Thank you. Appreciate it. Poseidon's Will sends in a question. Poseidon, long time no see. Hope you're doing well, my man. Says DJ Moore or David Montgomery in the half PPR flexible spot. Let's see here. So I think you have an opportunity of kind of playing it one way or the other. In the event in which Trayvon Diggs is out this afternoon and will be given that designation probably prior to the game, because Montgomery plays on Monday, this is how I want to approach this. In the event in which Trayvon Diggs is out, you play DJ Moore. In the event in which he is not, I just fire up Montgomery for Monday night. Thank you. All right, Dirk sends in a question. Dirk Schneider says, 8-team league, half PPR. I don't need immediate help, but should I drop running back Tootin or Harvey to pick up Henderson? Yes, I would immediately, in my mind, be dropping Harvey to pick up Henderson. Says, who is most late season potential? I think all of them have late season potential. But as it currently stands in terms of the opportunity share that these running backs have been exposed to thus far, Harvey looks like he's the longest shot to potentially get any sort of increased workload share in comparison to the bunch in my mind. Thank you, Dirk. I appreciate it. Steve Jobs sends in a question. Says, full PPR. I got DK, Nico, Chase Brown, James Conner, and Pearsall. Should I plug in Troy Franklin or Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt? In comparison to the alternative options you have in a full PPR, I think let's see here. Where is Pearsall compared to Ja'Cory? So here's the issue. In the event in which we had Juwan Jennings inactive today, immediately, without a doubt in my mind, I am playing Pearsall over Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. But in the event in which Juwan Jennings is playing, I would flip it. But the issue now arises in which we do not know whether or not Juwan Jennings is playing until the afternoon slate of games. So with that alone, it makes it a little bit of a sketchier kind of approach to where, because we don't know the status of Juwan Jennings, and you won't know for another 4 hours, you kind of just have to play JCM. And that's, I mean, I even have my own personal like home league. That's the exact thing. In my flex, I'm trying to figure out, am I playing Pearsall or am I playing JCM? And as of right now, I have JCM sitting there because I do not know the status of Juwan Jennings. Now, I will say, based on a couple factors, we could assume that Jennings could be missing this week. And let me tell you exactly what these factors are. Whenever a team elevates a player from the practice squad, it does give us the indication that, okay, there's probably a likelihood that that player does not end up playing. So What the 49ers did on Saturday is they elevated a quarterback and they elevated a wide receiver. They elevated said quarterback because they knew that Purdy's not going to play, and they elevated said wide receiver because there's a high likelihood in which Jennings doesn't play. But again, until I get an official word, I don't want to put you in a position of vulnerability. So I will tell you probably JCM, but there's an outside chance in which Pearsall could have the full workload of being the number one with no Jennings in this offense, which sheesh. Against Arizona without Will Johnson, this might be one of those Pearsall days in which I am, I might have myself as the conductor of the Ricky Pearsall hype train. We might have a really good Sunday here. All right, let's see here. Sepinen sends in a question. Thank you very much. It says PPR, Henderson, Franklin, or Hunter. Of the available options, I'm going to lean towards playing Troy Franklin there. Much love. Thank you very much. All right, Miggs sends in a question. Says, start Edgy? Who the heck is Edgy, brother? What do we do? Why can't we just get full names? Why do we have to give nicknames to players? I'm going to assume Eggy is like Egbuka. I'm going to assume that's what it is. Eggy or DJ Moore? I'd rather play DJ Moore in this circumstance. Parker Romo or Sly? I'd rather play Parker Romo. Falcons or the Colts? Honestly, flip a coin. I think both are great options. I just think that there's a higher likelihood of Bryce Young creating garbage time value rather than Cam Ward. So I'd lean towards the Colts there. Thank you. All right, really quick reminder. For those of you who are joining us this morning, good morning. I hope you guys are doing well on this incredible Sunday morning of Week 3 of the 2025 fantasy football season. Again, for the next 2 hours and 6 minutes, I'm talking all things fantasy, answering questions directly, and of course, trying to answer your questions via proxy of the rankings on screen. I present these rankings for the singular purpose of trying to help you guys win on a weekly basis. Again, I was up till 4 a.m. doing rankings. Okay, that's how much research I put into this thing. I'm running on a literal 1.5 hours of sleep. Okay, I've tried to do my best to collect as much information as possible to put ourselves in the best position to win, and therefore I present the rankings here to your use. So check them out if you have questions into regards to interpositional ranking at running back, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback, kicker, defense, flex is not on screen. There's no flex there, but flex is available via the Patreon if you guys are interested. Link down below. Thank you. All right, Joe Boggs sends in a question. Thank you, Joe. Says, would you sit McLaurin for Tootin? No, I wouldn't. I'd have to play McLaurin there. Look, Tootin got himself a good volume share last week, and I think there's a possibility in which his role expands, but as to how much is very difficult to assume as of yet because we're only within 1 week of a relevant opportunity share of Tootin. So considering the volume he experienced last week, we could maybe assume or come to the conclusion that he may find himself performing at a very similar level. But in the event in which, again, he doesn't, it wouldn't surprise us. So for right now, I'd lean towards McLaurin. As for your alternative question, it says Trevion Henderson or Jawan Jennings. Again, I'm not too comfortable with the idea of Jennings playing this week. So unless you have a pivoting option in the afternoon window slate, which does not include Henderson, if you have somebody that is on the Broncos, Chargers, Saints, Seahawks, Cowboys, Bears, Cardinals, 49ers, Chiefs, Giants, Lions, Ravens, if you have anybody that plays in that window, you could hold Jennings up until that moment and then pivot off. If you don't have a pivot, then you have to play Henderson. Thank you. All right, let me go to the live chat. I had Easy E type in a question, and I apologize. I completely forgot to go check that. Easy E said, would you trade Allen and Aubrey for BTJ? I would immediately do it. I wouldn't even blink. BTJ's in my lineup, and he's starting for me this week if I had the opportunity to make that trade. This is half PPR, 40 plus. Yeah, I'm not really too worried about the additional points and all that kind of jazz. And if I had the opportunity of making this trade, I'd probably end up going and picking up Chase McLaughlin and rolling him this week. Thank you. Appreciate it, Easy. All right, continuing on. Let's see what we have on our next slate of questions. Okay, I think our next question, where did it go? Okay, here we go. So we had a question that came in from Samaj, who says, in a PPR 2 wide receiver, 2 flex format, start Debo, Garrett Wilson, JSN, Pearsall, Jamison Williams. Okay, cool. If we're starting 4 of these players, JSN's number 1, Garrett Wilson's number 2, Debo is number 3, and so that for sure starts, okay? Then you have a potential option of either playing JMO or Pearsall. If Jennings is out, you play Pearsall. If Jennings is in, you play JMO on Monday. Thank you. Outdoors for Life says, good day, bro. Flex Pollard or Myers in a PPR? I will take Jacoby Myers considering his target and reception counts are incredibly high. Pollard would need to score a touchdown to be able to outpace him or have a generational game in comparison to what he has put forth in the last 2 weeks. So Myers is my suggestion. Thank you, Outdoors. Xavier Fisher sends in a question, says, half PPR, help me decide, start between Debo or Quentin Johnston. Yeah, look, Debo Samuel, his touches are designed to get him the ball. He is going to get himself a lot of opportunity on screen passes, rushing attempts, etc., because that is how the offense has designed it to get him, opportunities. So once you're given those guaranteed touches, and he's such a great player after the catch, expect him to continue to be just as relevant as he has been with Jaden Daniels, now with Marcus Mariota. The primary concern about Quentin Johnston, besides the fact that, again, he's been very successful as of late, is that he runs majority of his routes from the outside. And when you're running on the outside against Patrick Surtain most likely today, your potential for upside is certainly limited within the matchup. Debo's the preferred. Harrison Mills sends in a question. Thank you, Harrison. Says, half PPR flex, Io Manor, Booty, Hunter, Kirk, Fannin. Of those available, again, I don't like any of them this week. I will be completely blunt, and I will tell you, I don't like any of those options. I already feel bad that you have to be starting them in week 3 at this capacity. But of the available options you have theoretically mentioned here, I will lean towards my hidden gem of Christian Kirk in this week, which honestly, I don't even know if that's the right play. I don't like playing Hunter. He doesn't play enough snaps. He doesn't run enough routes. Diami Brown is getting more workload. So that scares me. Kayshon Boutte last week, a complete no-show in terms of target opportunity. Could be that once again this week with Jalen Ramsey. And of course, Darius Slay. So I don't love that. Then we have Io Manor, who again, at times has shown some tendencies to be, highly targeted down the field. I don't really like the matchup against the Colts. And then you have Fannin and Kirk, which I think both of them probably end up getting like 4 or 5 catches for 40 or 50 yards. And I think that is kind of like their baseline of production. And I think between the two of them, I would be willing to take the risk on what Christian Kirk can put forth in his first week back. Gio Ortiz says, am I crazy to play Algier over Hampton this week? I think you would be, but at the same time, not. Again, I mentioned this before, and I'll continue to reiterate. Algier in the last couple matchups against the against the Carolina Panthers has gotten himself a lot of workload of opportunity because the Panthers can't stop the run, and the Falcons often take an early lead against them and run out the clock. So considering the opportunity share that Algier has been exposed to, 10 plus targets each of the last 2 weeks, he may get more touches this week than Hampton does. That's a genuine reality that could occur. So I don't think it's crazy. Am I making that move? Am I suggesting that? No, but I think you're not out of the, it's not out of the realm of possibility in which Algier can absolutely outscore him this week. So honestly, if you're willing to risk it, there may be a biscuit on the end of that overall rainbow. Thank you. LZ7 sends in a question. LZ, if you could do me a favor, type your question into the live chat so that I can go ahead and check that out. Thank you. Matt Lowe sends in a question. Says in a PPR, I need 2 running backs in a flex between Bucky, Javonte, Amarion Hampton, Kenneth Walker, McConkey, and Adunze. Okay. Of your available options, let me see where I have Adunze comparatively to the field. And then at that point, I will make my decision. Okay. So as it currently stands, I would play all 3 of your running backs. Give me Kenneth Walker, give me Bucky Irving, give me Javonte Williams. That's how I currently have it structured out. That's the 3 that I would play. Those are my 3 highest ranked of the bunch. Adunze is the 4th man looking on the outside looking in. Thank you. Senshi sends in a question. Says, hey, Andrew, I sent a trade question for AJ, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Jacoby Myers for David Montgomery, Alvin Kamara, Egbuka. I remember. Says, my wide receiver core, Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, Devontae. Okay, yeah. So, considering the circumstance, so you would be moving Devontae. So you'd have Jamar Chase and Devontae Adams as your 1-2 combo. You would still have Keenan Allen there. You'd be bringing in Egbuka. So you'd have Jamar, Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, and Egbuka. And then you would be improving RB effectively with the bringing in of Alvin Kamara. Okay. Look, as of right now, I think you can afford to make the move, and that's perfectly fine. I was just wanting to make sure that you didn't leave your wide receiver position thin because, again, a lot of what we're dealing with right now in the first 4 weeks of the season is going to be flipped on its head once we get to week 7 and beyond. Because once those bipocalypses start to stack up, and we're going to need wide receiver depth and running back depth from the bench to come in and play, and a lot of injuries may take place, I want to make sure that you're secure in that so that you're not scrambling for waiver wire pickups every single week. So I think you're fine in this situation, and I'm okay with the trade. Thank you, Senshi. John Thompson sends in a question, says PPR pick 1 for the flex. Hampton, JCM, McLaurin, Ridley. If I'm playing one in the flex in a PPR scoring format, it probably ends up being McLaurin or JCN. Let me see where I have McLaurin compared to him. As it currently stands, I have Terry McLaurin 2 spots ahead of Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and that's the direction I go in. I played McLaurin this week. Thank you, PPR. Jacob Tafola sends in a question. Says, "Hey Andrew, hope you had a great weekend. So far, so good. Hopefully, of course, we get some entertaining games this weekend, and hopefully no injuries. Okay, I said this this time last week. Please no injuries, and then I got Toe Burrow absolutely ruining my week. So hopefully again no injuries this weekend. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. Pick one in a 12-team full PPR. T. Higgins, Wan'Dale Robinson, or Troy Franklin. Out of the group in a full PPR, let me see where I have Wan'Dale comparatively to T. Higgins. I don't mind the idea of playing Wan'Dale Robinson there, but as of right now, I do have T. Higgins. I think the full week of practice with Jake Browning is going to make their connection a little bit stronger, and effectively, I do expect a lot of double coverage in the direction of Jamar Chase to where T. Higgins could get himself a pretty good week here. So I'll take T. Higgins in this circumstance. Thank you. Siobhan Walker sends in a follow-up. Says, pick one between Kirk, Pacheco, and ETN. I'd rather play ETN over the group, clearly. Like, it's not even close at that point. Also, Cardinals or the Colts defense. I'd rather play the Colts. Thank you. Alan sends in a question. Thank you very much, Alan. I appreciate it. He says, in a full PPR, flex Ridley, Travion Henderson, Scadaboo, Tootin, Calvin Austin, or Josh Downs. Pick one. If I'm playing one of the group, I would feel most comfortable playing Calvin Ridley, to be honest. Again, like Travion Henderson, not a good enough workload of opportunity for me to feel confident there. Same thing with, like Scadaboo, again, is a difficult matchup against the Chiefs. Tootin is already in a tough spot because we don't know his opportunity share. Calvin Austin's playing about 90% of the snaps, but only had himself 1 reception last week on 4 targets. Could go ahead and increase this week, but again, very sketchy because there's a lot of mouths to feed in that offense, and anybody could score within any given week. And then Josh Downs had himself the best week out of the group, last week with 6 catches for 50 some odd yards. So Josh Downs could be the play. In comparison to each other in a full PPR, I do have Calvin Ridley still slightly ahead because I anticipate a very heavy pass game script from the Titans this week, and hopefully he'll look further in the direction of Ridley. So that's what I'd go with this week. Thank you. As for your second league, Mike Evans, Deebo Samuel, Keenan Allen, or Jameson Williams, pick one. Of the group, I have Mike Evans ranked the highest. Thank you. Jennifer sends in a question. Says, PPR, Michael Pittman Jr., Jameson Williams, We have Quentin Johnston, Wan'Dale Robinson, Zach Ertz, K-Dot. Okay. So, really quickly, of the available options that we do have here, in a full PPR scoring format, I would play Jameson Williams, Wan'Dale Robinson, Pittman, Johnston. That's the order. So, Jamo, Wan'Dale, Pittman, Johnston. As for Ertz and Otten, give me Ertz over Otten. But if we're just talking about all of them available for one singular flex spot, I like the idea of Jameson Williams in a shootout. I'm comfortable with the risk that is implied there. If you want the guaranteed 10 points, you play Wan'Dale Robinson. If you're wanting to go for the potential of he could score 7 or he could score 17, that's what Jamo, I think, presents in the Ravens matchup on Monday night. Thank you. Mr. Noodles says, hey, Andrew, Murray or Caleb? I'll take Caleb Williams there, please and thank you. And Sutton or Olave or Pearsall, PPR. Thanks, man. So of the available, I'm going to probably, so this is my primary suggestion as to how I go about this. So considering the Broncos and the Saints all play in the afternoon slate alongside of the 49ers, you have the opportunity of waiting for the afternoon window. In the event in which Jawan Jennings is designated out, Pearsall starts. In the event in which that is not the case, and Jennings is in fact active, at that point, in a full PPR scoring format, I would just probably roll with playing Cortland Sutton. Thank you. All right, we continue with a question from Damon Smith. Thank you very much, sir. Says, LOL, another quarterback question. Says, which trade would you accept? Pearsall for Fields or Scadaboo for Kyler Murray? Currently have Penix and Lawrence on roster. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I think it's not really a matter of which quarterback I want. I think it's more of a matter of which player am I willing to get rid of, right? Like, are you in need of that running back depth that Scadaboo presents to your roster? If that's the case, then we theoretically make the trade for Fields. Because honestly, I look at the upcoming schedule for the Jets, and I'm very much so intrigued to the point to where I've been telling y'all in the last couple of days, if you have an opportunity to buy low on Breece Hall, that's probably a way to go in about it. Because when I look at the upcoming schedule, once Fields returns, we have the Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Broncos, which is a little bit of a sketchy matchup, but then the Panthers, the Bengals, the Browns, the Patriots. Like, those are matchups in which the Jets not only could win, but really effectively impose their will running the ball. So, in the case of running the ball, of course, Justin Fields implicated there. If you don't need the wide receiver depth, you prefer to keep the running back depth, or vice versa. I think that kind of implies as to which way you go about this trade rather than the player itself. Because otherwise, preseason ranked, currently ranked in terms of rest of season value, they're back-to-back. Thank you. DK says, good morning. Full PPR, Jordan Mason or Mike Evans? I would rather play Jordan Mason, genuinely. I think both of them are fantastic plays, but Jordan Mason is the preferred of the two. Humbly sends in a question. Says, in a PPR, Mooney, Io Manor, Ridley, Judy. Pick 2. I will take Ridley and Judy. Thank you. Flotation says, check X. Okay, let me check my Twitter. Let's see what you ended up sharing there with me, my man. Thank you very much. Let's see if we go to the Twitters. All right, he says, okay, I think you sent me multiple questions here. All right, Ty, let's see what you have here. Flotation says, full PPR, start Wicks, question mark. Should I be worried about tight end and Renfro? I got to get my first win this season. Okay, looking at the roster as a whole. Honestly, if I'm in your position here, let me look at what I have. Is it a full PPR? Because if it's a half PPR, I'd rather play Mark Andrews, honestly. I'd rather just bank on the idea of a shootout in this circumstance. Honestly, even in a full PPR, I have Mark Andrews ranked higher. So that's the swap I make. I play Mark Andrews instead of Hunter Henry. And then as for the potential of either Hunter Renfro or Dontavion Wicks in a full PPR, let me see where I have them ranked according to one another, and I'll let you know. I think I have Renfro ranked higher. No, I do not. I have Wicks ranked higher. Therefore, I go Wicks there. So then you're good to go. Thank you. As for your second question, let me see where it was. It says, I have Trevor Lawrence and stashing Jackson Dart. Okay. It says Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Joe Flacco, or Tyrod Taylor. Should I drop Dart for a quarterback stash or keep? No, I think you're okay keeping him as is. Would I start Mac Jones over Trevor Lawrence? I wouldn't. I wouldn't start any of these other quarterbacks over Trevor Lawrence this week. So you're fine with the current iteration of your roster and your starting lineup this week. Thank you. All right, Nick Abner sends in a question. Says, PPR flex Pollard, Egbuka, or Franklin. Let me see where I have Pollard comparatively to Egbuka. In a full PPR, I'll let you know right now. I currently have Pollard 3 spots ahead of Egbuka. My number 52 in comparison to my number 55. I could justify playing Egbuka there, but for right now, I have Tony Pollard projected for more points. When I say more points, I mean he's a half a point higher in terms of projection. So really, you can go either which way about it in regards to which you prefer. Thank you. LS sends in a question. Says, half PPR, flex JMO, Booty, or Io Manor. I'd play JMO there. Knicks or Jones? Give me Daniel Jones. Thank you very much, LS. Appreciate it. Patrick Morris sends in a question. Says, half PPR, Keenan Allen, Nick Chubb, Cortland Sutton in the flex. I honestly, of the group, I think Cortland Sutton gets a little bit of a bounce back performance here in the matchup. So I'd lean in that direction. Thank you. All right, we continue on with a question that comes in from Duro Modi, who says, Drew, what's up? Is Travis unstartable? I think he is. I think Travis Hunter can't be started because he doesn't play enough offensive snaps for me to be, comfortable with it. And the majority of the opportunities they're giving him are just like quick screens. You better make a play after the catch. And typically he takes, first contact and falls down. So it's not looking good there. So for right now, I'm not too keen on the idea of playing Travis Hunter. Thank you. AJ sends in a question, says, Andrew, we spoke earlier this week about my wide receiver Adunze JSN in London after trading Neighbors for Jonathan Taylor, Kittle sideline, Jonnu Smith starting, Hall is my RB2. Any advice for the next 2 weeks with my many starters out week 5? I mean, look, as of right now, the only advice that I technically have is just, have a positive mindset and expect all these guys to come back and help you. Like, as of right now, having Adunze, JSN, JT as your primary kind of contributors alongside of Hall, I think you're only going in the right direction. Obviously, you have to deal with Jonnu Smith. Fingers crossed that, of course, against the New England Patriots, he's able to put together a 4-catch, 40-yard kind of game minimum. Otherwise, I think you got a really strong roster across the board based on your pillars of kind of contributors. I mean, you have 3 of my top 12 ranked wide receivers this week. And obviously, you have Jonathan Taylor. Hopefully, Daniel Jones doesn't steal all the rushing touchdowns for you this week. Otherwise, again, I wouldn't worry at all. You're in a good spot. Thank you. Cinco 2X sends in a question. Says, if Jennings is out, Pearsall or Metcalf? I'd rather play Pearsall at that point. Thank you. Michael Story sends in a question. Says, 12-team PPR, Pearsall, Judkins, Henderson. Okay, so here's the issue that is involved. No, you know what? There's no issue. I'm playing Pearsall blindly. I'll play him over both those options, PPR, regardless of Jennings in or out. Thank you. Emmanuel sends in a question. Says, in a full PPR double flex format, my running backs are Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Achane, Connor Tootin. My wide receivers are JSN, Sutton, Pearsall, Ridley. Who am I starting? Of course, I started Achane already. Beautiful. So if you've already started Achane and you have 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Oh, it's a double flex. Beautiful. Okay. So Christian McCaffrey plays alongside of Achane as your RBs. Then you play Jacobs as one of your flex. You play JSN alongside of Sutton as your 2 wide receivers. And your final flex option is James Conner. So it should be Christian McCaffrey, Jacobs, Achane, Conner, JSN, Sutton. In the event in which we get into this afternoon's slate of games, and Jawan Jennings is inactive, you would play Pearsall over Sutton. Thank you. Julian sends in a question. Says, full PPR. I need help with my 3rd wide receiver spot. Should I start Alick, Io Manor, Jawan Jennings, Josh Downs, Jerry Jeudy, Christian Kirk, or Matthew Golden? Okay, in a full PPR, under the assumption that Jennings is active, you play him. But herein lies the issue. We don't know his status until this afternoon. Therefore, you would have only a few pivoting options in the event in which you were to wait until that window. When I say a few pivoting options, I mean you'd have 0 pivoting options of the members that you specifically mentioned, because the Green Bay Packers play in the morning, the Titans play in the morning. When I say in the morning, I mean in an hour, 50 minutes. The Colts play in the morning, and so do the Cleveland Browns. So you would theoretically have no pivoting option, and also the Texans play in the morning. So unfortunately, you have no pivoting option. To which I would say we can't trust Jawan Jennings, and that we have to look to an alternative option, to which my next highest ranked player is Jerry Jeudy out of this group. Thank you. Jennifer sends in a follow-up question. Says, Colts or Atlanta defense? I would prefer to play the Colts defense there. Thank you. Anonymous sends in a question saying PPR pick 3. Egbuka, Dobbins, Tedero, McMillan, JCM, Fannin, Hollywood Brown. Okay, cool. In a PPR format, out of those available options, if I'm picking 3, Tedero, McMillan, Egbuka, JCM. I'm a JSM. McMillan, Egbuka. Where do I have Jacory? Where is Hollywood? I have Hollywood ranked higher. Okay. In a full PPR, it's Tedero, McMillan, it's Egbuka, it's Hollywood Brown. All 3 wide receivers play. Thank you. As for your next question, Anonymous, half PPR pick 3 between Diggs, Jennings, Hendy, Fannin. So herein lies the issue. Again, we don't know if Jennings is playing. So you kind of, considering you don't have an alternative pivot, you just play all 3 of the alternatives. You just play Diggs, Hendy, and Fannin, because you don't have a pivot. This is playing Jawan at tight end with both. I'm worried about Jennings. Yeah, at this point, you don't even wait for Jennings because you don't have a pivoting option. Thank you. W. Mike 1981 says, good morning. Half PPR Debo or Pacheco? I will take Debo there comfortably. Again, I would like Pacheco to prove it to me before I play him over a Debo-esque player. In the event in which you said, Andrew, I've got Pacheco or I've got Josh Downs, then at that point, yeah, let's roll with the Pacheco side of the circumstance. Thank you. AJ sends in a question. Says, bench is Charbonnet, Scadabu, Golden, Io Manor. Love it, quarterback. AJ, let me scroll back up here and see the context of this prior question. Okay, so let me see. Charbonnet, Scadabu, Golden, Io Manor. Yeah, look, again, Charbonnet will come back from injury. Scadabu's great. Golden, again, is a little bit of a long-term investment, same as Io Manor. Love it, quarterback, again, is still very solid as your number 1 QB. I think in future weeks, again, he will be better off once we get a clear understanding as to the craft health. But as of right now, pretty solid squad. I don't think you need to make any moves. I don't think you need to panic. You stick with the plan because it looks like you're in a pretty good position to succeed. Thank you. Beware Dream sends in a question. Says, in a 10-team full PPR, I need a flex between Quentin Johnson, Jerry Jeudy, and Troy Franklin. As it currently stands in a full PPR of the available names mentioned, I currently have them ranked in literal back-to-back-to-back order. Johnston, Franklin, Jeudy. That's the order in which I have it. Thank you. Bryson Bugden sends in a question. Says, in a 12-team PPR, I'm currently 2-0, 1-1 or 2-1, Marvin Harrison or DJ Moore, plus RJ Harvey, Farashi Rice, plus Jacory Krosky Merritt. Interesting. Says, remember watching at 3K subs. Proud of you. Thank you very much, Bryson. Thank you. Okay, so in regards to the potential trade options or opportunities here, I have no problem at all shipping DJ Moore with RJ Harvey to get Rashee Rice, Ja'Cory Cross-Camara. Now, if in the event they're like, hey, I want both and you can afford it, I'm okay with that as well. But I have no problem sending whichever. Honestly, I would send either of the two wide receivers. If they want Marvin Harrison and RJ Harvey, I'll take that for Rashee Rice, Ja'Cory Cross-Camara, and I'll run to the hills. I think what Rice and JCM present for rest of season value is just far greater in terms of the current window of what we're expecting to see. So I don't mind either of the trade. I think you should just make one of them. Just make it happen. That's all I got to say. You're good to go there, Bryson. Thank you very much for all the support. Johnny Kilroy, what's up, Johnny? How you doing? Says, what do we do about Hampton? I think we just wait and see. His ADP is entirely too high. I'm ready to flat out drop him. Okay, so look, what you are currently experiencing right now, Johnny, is a crash out. You are crashing out for 2 weeks of production. Please be patient. Again, in due time, it will all level out. And in 5 weeks from now, you'll have already forgotten that Hampton had a 2-week kind of dud performance. Just be patient. He's a rookie running back, just like Genty, just like Harvey, just like Henderson, just like JCM. Slow to start, but in due time, just like how Ollie Gordon presented on Thursday. Just because the first 2 weeks of your season were slow and got very little opportunity share in comparison to what we expected, it doesn't mean that it's out of the realm of possibility in which you can get an expansion of opportunity, which Hampton will be exposed to within far better matchups. The first 2 weeks against pretty good run-stopping defenses, don't overreact. Just play it patiently and, expect everything to go to the plan. Again, he will be way better than he has been thus far. Sir Vancelot sends in a question, says PPR 2 of 3. Montgomery, Dobbins, Ertz, 1 running back, 1 flex. Talk to me. All right. Of the available, let me see where I have Zach Ertz comparatively to the bunch in a full PPR format. As it currently stands, you have David Montgomery, you have J.K. Dobbins there. Yeah. So here's my issue. I don't love playing Dobbins against that Chargers run-stop defense. David Montgomery, again, I'm expecting him to score a touchdown on Monday night. So that, first and foremost, I think is the immediate play. As for Ertz versus J.K. Dobbins, I think based on how Mariota has functioned in his career, heavily involving the tight end position, I'd assume Ertz continues to be relevant. I'm playing both of them over Dobbins. Thank you. Jerry Mendoza says, full PPR, Romeo Dobbs, Jerry Jeudy in the flex. In a full PPR format, I currently have Jerry Jeudy 3 spots ahead of Romeo Dobbs. I'll take Jeudy there. Thank you. Again, Romeo Dobbs doesn't get enough of a target share opportunity. In the absence of a huge receiving yard play or a touchdown, I have a hard time thinking that in a negative game script, Jeudy couldn't outproduce him. Logart sends in a question, says, hey, Andrew, I see your rankings, but I'm having a hard time deciding between Pacheco, Chubb, and Ramondre Stevenson. In a full PPR, Pacheco's matchup is tempting. Thanks, boyo. Okay, so here's the thing, Logart. I 100% agree. Pacheco's matchup is incredibly enticing, but on top of it, Ramondre has the second best matchup of the week, taking on that Steelers defense. And quite frankly, Ramondre's just been the better player in comparison to Pacheco and Chubb thus far this season in terms of efficiency levels. So if we're going to assume for him to continue to get himself a strong pace of opportunity within the rushing opportunities that he's been provided thus far, I would expect him to be the most valuable of the group considering the matchup context and the receiving opportunity on top of the rushing exposure. So in comparison to Chubb and Pacheco, who don't get much receiving workload either, when we compare matchups, sure, they may be close, but Stevenson's been the better runner in just as of a tempting matchup in this circumstance. So I lean towards Stevenson there, my man. Thank you. Jordan Olson says in a full PPR, start 3 between London, Nico, T-Mac, Odunze, Pickens. Nico Collins, number 1. London, number 2. Rome Odunze, number 3. Easy. As for your next question, it says Crafter, Juwan Jennings. Let me see where I have them in the full PPR. In a full PPR, Juwan Johnson, excuse me. Juwan Johnson, I have ranked ahead of Kraft in a full PPR today. So I will play Juwan Johnson there. It says London and T-Mac have the same line on Underdog, and there's no AJ Terrell. That is very interesting. I mean, again, the reason why they have the same line is because T-Mac is going to play well. It's just a matter of does he score a touchdown. I think there's a higher likelihood that London's able to accomplish that based on his last time outing against the Carolina Panthers, week 18 of last season, going for 37.5 fantasy points, or 35.7 fantasy points, excuse me. London is the preferred. T-Mac, again, I know he's going to play well. There's a reason why I put such a big play on him in regards to the better plays I put this weekend. I think the primary play that I shared on the Hidden Gems episode on Friday was T-Mac more than 3.5 receptions. Alvin Kamara more than 3.5 receptions. Nico Collins more than 4.5 receptions. It was like a $50 play for 125. It was like a 3.25 or something like that, 2.75x or something like that. So those are the 3 plays I really like. I really like the idea of playing T-Mac this week, but you just have better wide receivers, my man. I don't know what to tell you. Kendrick Lamar fan sends in a question. Says, DJ Moore, Ridley, Wandell, flex, PPR. Moore number 1, Wandell number 2, Ridley number 3. Thank you. James King sends in a question. Says, full PPR. Harold Fannin, Troy Franklin, Travis Hunter. Give me Troy Franklin out of the group. Thank you. Steve sends in a question. Says, Pollard, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin. I have Keenan Allen ranked the highest. Thank you. Rickolas Cage, what a name, huh? Says, half PPR. Drop Hunter Henry for Hawkinson. I would. I'm okay playing Hawkinson against Cincy today. Thank you. Revis Island sends in a question. Says, pick one for my flex. PPR, Hunter, Jim, Devontae. Worried about Devontae Smith with will be a 0 like last week. Yeah, I mean, I'm just as afraid as you are. I just don't know who Jim is, okay? So if you can tell me who Jim is, that would be incredible. Yeah, not really too sure about what that means. So as of right now, I'm trying to maybe what could that be in terms of a auto functioning? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who Jim is. Let me look at wide receiver because I know this is a wide receiver question here. So let's see if anybody, maybe that means Judy. If that's Judy potentially in the mix, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can let me know in the live chat here, Revis. Thank you. JCM, listen. You guys say it like it's supposed to be that. I don't know what he meant. It could be any of anything. It could be Juwan Jennings. Who knows? That's the thing. I want to make sure I know what it is so that I can give the correct answer. Oh, there you go. JCM. Perfect. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So JCM plays. It's not even a question. He's the best of the bunch. Thank you very much, Revis. Alrighty. Let's continue on, shall we? To the next string of questions here. After we had that question, we roll. Oh man, there's a lot logged in here. I appreciate you guys being patient. I know there's a lot of questions and I'm trying to get through them as quickly as I can. Thank you very much. Ricardo says, in a full PPR, Judy, McConkey, Jennings in the flex. Judy and Jennings cannot play. McConkey has to be your starter outright without a doubt. Oh no, never mind. I'm sorry. Now I understand the question. Got it. Okay. Considering the context of your situation, I'm not even trying Jennings here, man. You don't have a pivot option. So you played Dobbs, Jennings, and McConkey today. Thank you. Nathan Salazar sends in a question. Says full PPR. Start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex. London, Flowers, Kamara, Swift, Lamb, Brown, Mason, and more. Trade Mason and Brown for Walker and Pacheco. No, I don't want Pacheco. No, thank you. In regards to the question in terms of starters, London and Flowers are my 2 wide receivers. Well, actually, no. London and Lamb and Flowers are the 1, 2, 3 combo. Then I play Mason alongside of Kamara. Thank you. AMZG Eric says full PPR, Chuba, Kamara, or BTJ. Let me see where I have Kamara in comparison to BTJ, and I'll let you right now. Let's see. Brian, yeah, Kamara is my start this week. Thank you very much, Eric. MS Lizard says in a half PPR, do I swap Knicks for Mariota? As long as you're not dropping him, sure, that's fine. But if you would have to drop Knicks in order to make this swap, then no. Because I still want Knicks for the rest of season. Jaden Oliver says JSN or Kyron with sickness. I would still play JSN there, without a doubt. Thank you. Michael Susmith sends in a question. Thank you very much, Michael. Very generous of you. Says in a 12-team full PPR, I've got 2 questions. Should I start Justin Herbert or Daniel Jones? I would prefer to play Justin Herbert. He's been on fire. I think regardless of the fact that, again, he takes on the Denver Broncos defense, we just saw Daniel Jones this most recent week torch that defense for 300 yards. One of only 3 quarterbacks in the last calendar year to throw for over 300 yards against that secondary, and I think Justin Herbert is very much so capable of accomplishing that, especially considering his rushing upside. Should I start Tyler Warren or Juwan Johnson? I would prefer to play Tyler Warren there. I don't think there's a wrong answer between the two, considering both have been incredible thus far this season. Juwan Johnson's leading the pack in terms of tight end targets. So both are incredible plays, but I do prefer to play Tyler Warren within the given week. Thank you very much, Michael Sue Smith. Very generous of you. John's Wall sends in a question. Says, full PPR. Do I pick between Debo, Dobbins, Pacheco? Play Debo Samuel PPR. Thank you. King sends in a question. Says, start Trevor Lawrence or drop and pick up either Mac Jones or Jake Browning. As it currently stands in regards to my quarterback rankings in a 4-point per passing touchdown league, I currently have Trevor Lawrence ahead of Mac Jones and Jake Browning. Trevor Lawrence is my number 15. Mac Jones is 17. Jake Browning is 18. So Trevor Lawrence is still the preferred of the group. Thank you. Kyle Simkus sends in a question. Shimkus says in a full PPR, would you trade BTJ for Jackson Smith and Jigba? I would. Yes. Says my other wide receivers are Devontae Adams, Rome Odunze, and Marvin Harrison. Yeah, I don't mind moving BTJ for JSN in a full PPR. That works for me. Thank you. Drew Schlesinger sends in a question. What's up, Drew? Hope you're doing well, my man. Says Sutton, Swift, Pearsall. I need to start 2. Okay. So look, here's my thought process on the matter, Drew. You have my rankings because you're a Patreon member. So this is the way we go about it. Considering we're waiting for the status of Juwan Jennings this afternoon, we would try to play in a half PPR, probably Swift over Sutton. Let me confirm this real quick in terms of my projections. No, we won't. You know what? We probably even... Okay, this is the way we go about it. Swift and Sutton play. In the event in which Pearsall has the opportunity of playing without Jennings, you play Sutton alongside of Pearsall. Thank you. Travis Ward sends in a question. Says full PPR, Cam Ward, Tyrod Taylor, or Jake Browning. Of the group, I currently have Jake Browning as my number 18th ranked quarterback. Tyrod Taylor's 21. Cam Ward is 29 of the remaining QBs. So Jake Browning 1, Tyrod Taylor 2, Cam Ward 3. Thank you. Dilly sends in a question. Says, greetings, Andrew. Starting Jacobs, Walker, Neighbors, London. I'm torn as to who to start in the flex between Kyron, Tet McMillan, Garrett Wilson, full PPR. I'm playing one of the 2 wide receivers. As to who you want to play is definitely up to you. Obviously, Garrett Wilson with Tyrod Taylor is a little bit of a lesser option than with Fields, but I still think number 1 wide receivers against Tampa Bay have found a lot of success thus far this season, considering Josh Reynolds is out and really nobody else garners targets within that offense in a negative game script. Garrett Wilson should be a great play. So I'd lean towards playing Garrett. If you wanted to play Ted or McMillan, so be it. They have no AJ Terrell. He should have also a great week here. So between the group, I'm got to play one of the 2 wide receivers over Kyron in this circumstance. Thank you. Sean Fortney sends in a question. Thank you very much, Sean. If you could do me a favor, type your question into the live chat. That'd be greatly appreciated. You know what happened? LZ7, I completely forgot your question, my man. Again, guys, if you're going to send in questions, please make sure your question's attached to the super, because there's a high likelihood that I forget to answer it, because it's just a slog of a process. So LZ, if you get an opportunity to also type in your question, that'd be appreciated. Good to go. All right, perfect. Are these rankings half PPR? Correct. Yes, they are half PPR. Again, a reminder for those of you joining us, the rankings on screen are up to date. Good to go. How is he not seeing Jennings news and comments? How am I not looking at the comments? Let's see. What's the Jennings news? Juwan Jennings won't play. Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Listen, how am I not seeing it? You have to understand, right, that there is so many questions coming in that there's only so much that my brain can actually handle. As long as you guys are aware of that. There's just one of me and there's many of you. Sure. Do I miss stuff here and there? Yeah, it's fine. But you guys see the news as well, right? So then you know where to play these guys. Now, as to where I'm going to adjust my rankings, to be determined. Let's move a couple of these players around real quick. As in Ricky Pearsall jumping up my rankings a very considerable margin, which does us all a very huge favor today, which I do appreciate. So this is the way we're going to go about it this morning. So I'm going to play Ricky Pearsall right there alongside of, yeah, that's a very comfortable position. I'm going to open up my, okay, where is, all right, I'm waiting for Sean Fortney to send in that question. Until then, I got to open up my Photoshop here and hope my computer doesn't crash, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate y'all being patient with me. There's also a delay, guys. Yeah, there's a delay. So anytime like I say something, you guys see it maybe like 30 seconds later. That's how much of a delay there is. So yeah, again, there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that goes on within the live stream game, but nonetheless, I do appreciate you guys being patient with me today, as there's a lot of information and a lot of, circumstantial change thus far. As for the circumstantial change at wide receiver, well, easily we get rid of Juwan Jennings, and I considerably move up my Ricky Pearsall ranking accordingly. And I will change the rankings on screen to be able to affordably adjust for that. Again, if you have Ricky Pearsall today, play him. That's what I'm going to first and foremost start with. Thank you. All right, let's see here. Okay, beautiful. So I just saved it. So technically, right here, Ricky Pearsall, my number 19 now. Okay. So I have to go to my own leagues real quick, and I got to start Ricky Pearsall today. Give me a second, guys. One second. One moment, please. Playing Ricky Pearsall over Ja'Cory now. My flex, we're good to go there. Full PPR, thank you. And then I got to go to my other league here. Where's my other Ricky Pearsall shares? Okay, good to go. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Sean, where are you? No Sean Fortney yet? Okay. How about LZ? Z7? No. Okay. LZ7's gone. Very well. Mac Jones isn't bad, though. Yeah, I know he's not bad, though. That's why Pearsall is going to be a great play. All right, continuing on. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Where art thou? Okay, we had a question coming in from Arnie Ponce, who says, Sit 1, Amon-Ra, Neighbors, JSN, Adunze. Of the group, your worst player out of the group is Adunze. Otherwise, everybody else is they're just too good. Brett Wood sends in a question, says, PPR, Tootin or Harvey at RB2? I'd rather play Tootin. Thank you. Fernando Mendez says, in a full PPR, who do I flex between Sutton, Ricky, Hampton? Of the group, Ricky Pearsall starts. Thank you. Omega sends in a question. Says, best full PPR flex, Kyron or Mike Evans? I would rather play Mike Evans. Thank you. Dragon Fist sends in a question. Says, half PPR, pick 2. Marvin Harrison, Debo, GP. I'd play Debo and GP. Also, Kraft or Pitts? Give me Kraft. Thank you. Alejo sends in a question. Says, full PPR. I traded BTJ yesterday. Sorry, I traded for BTJ yesterday. I have Ladd, Devontae, BTJ, and Breece Hall. Choose 2 wide receivers in a flex. I played Devontae Adams, BTJ, and am I playing Breece Hall over Ladd? Let me check right now. No, Ladd still plays. So I start all 3 wide receivers in this circumstance. Alejo, thank you. C. Mitch, 4690, says, would you drop Omarion Hampton to pick up Ramondre Stevenson, Cam Scatterbo, or Bashal Tootin? My starters are Chuba Hubbard and Jordan Mason. I'm looking for a solid RB3 to fill in. Yeah, as of right now, no, I don't make the swap. I keep Hampton. He's going to be the better option for the future, and trust me on that. Thank you. Velez 408 sends in a question. Says, start Kraft or play Fannin, Kirk, Algier, or Tootin? Yeah, I'd rather play Tucker Kraft. Thank you. I appreciate it. Ibrahim sends in a question. Says, scale of 1 to 10, what are the chances Rams win today? You're asking the wrong person. I am incredibly biased. I think the Rams are winning today, in fact. So you're asking the wrong person. I'm incredibly biased. If I didn't believe that my own team was going to win, like, what kind of a fan am I at that point? So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking scale of 1 to 10. I'm at like a 7 right now. I'm pretty happy with how the Rams have looked thus far, and I think they're going to play up to the competition. It's just a matter of, can we protect Stafford? That's it. Diego sends in a question, nothing attached to it. Diego, hopefully you could type in your question into the live chat when you get a chance to. Thank you. All right, let's hear Diego. Yeah, nothing from Diego. Let's see if Sean was in the chat. Sean? No Sean. Okay, very well. Okay, good to go there. Once you go ahead and get an opportunity to check that out, thank you very much. Type in that question. Again, guys, if you guys are going to send in super chats, please make sure to attach your question to it. Otherwise, I'll probably end up just skipping it outright. The Brooklyn Hopper sends in a question, or Hooper, excuse me. Says, I'm in a 16-team full PPR. I'm torn between starting DJ Moore, Romeo Dobbs, and Juwan Jennings. Well, Juwan Jennings is out, so yeah, that was typed in a long time ago. Good to go. Also, have Darnell Mooney on the bench. Yeah, play DJ Moore. Again, as it currently stands, there's probably information regarding the status of the secondary members of the Dallas Cowboys soon enough here. And once, wow, Leggett is inactive. Guys, please, Tetaroa. Okay, hold up. What is my McMillan rank at right now? I gotta look. Leggett is, I mean, that's a huge upgrade to Hunter Renfro. I just want that to be known real quick. And Jalen Coker, another op. Wow. Okay, hold up. What do I have, McMillan? Okay. Yeah. So I gotta make a little bit of a change here. If there's no Xavier, like, okay, give me a moment. One moment, please, everybody. As I need to go and I need to change some rankings once again. Let me actually see what in the heck is going on this morning in terms of some of these reports. Okay. Let's see here. Jawan Jennings, list is questionable. Tucker Craft, active today. Leggett is inactive. Okay. Let's see. Actives and inactives list. Jack Conklin out. Emeka Igbuka active. Tucker Craft. Okay. Christian Darasaw active. I like to see that. Okay. I'm going to move up Tedero McMillan real quick. Just for the sake of just a slight adjustment of confidence. One moment, please, as I open up my Photoshop and try to crash my computer in one fell swoop. Until then, I will go to the live chat and I will hope that Diego has sent in his question. Diego, where are you? Diego says, hey, Andrew, in a full PPR flex play, JCM, Troy Franklin, Cortland Sutton. In a full PPR, I'll take Cortland Sutton there, my man. Thanks, man. Where did my Photoshop file go? There it is. Okay. Okay, we're good to go. File, save as, copy. Okay, I adjusted. I moved up Tedero McMillan a little bit. Again, that's just more target opportunity for him to continue to feast in this offense. Where do you guys get these reports? Yeah, I mean, the primary place I get them on is Twitter. I follow and I have notifications on for Ian Rappaport, and additionally on top of that, Adam Schefter. If you go to their Twitter pages, they have all of like the actives, inactives, all that kind of jazz in terms of potential players. So just to confirm, 2 of the starting offensive linemen for the Titans are out today, J.C. Latham and Kevin Zeitler. So that just continues to make the Colts defense a better play in terms of the pass rush that, of course, will be presented ahead of Mr. Cam Ward. Unfortunately, Cam Ward is thrown into a blender for another consecutive week here. All right, continuing on. I apologize. Again, I was taking a little bit of time there. We took care of Diego. We're good to go there. And I want to see if Sean is in the neighborhood. Let's see one more time. Control F3, Sean. No Sean. Okay. How about Z7? No Z7. Okay. We'll continue on. Okay, again, a quick reminder. For those of you joining us this morning, welcome. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Quickly, the rankings on screen are half PPR updated as of just literally 5 seconds ago. So keep that in mind. If you have interpositional rankings questions, hopefully the rankings on screen will, obviously deliver some accurate advice. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes well. But we should be good to go there. Outside of that, again, I'm going to go back to answering some of these questions that were sent in via Super Chat. Thank you very much for sending that my way. Thank you. Carlos Z says, I was dying when I rewatched your video. Quote unquote, who the F is AK? Yeah, listen. No, it wasn't who the heck is AK. It's who the heck is KA, right? Because it was Keenan Allen. It wasn't Alvin Kamara. It was Keenan Allen. That was the thing. Thank you very much, Carlos. Curtis says, in a half PPR, pick 2 between Pickens, Montgomery, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Great question. As it currently stands, of the group in a half PPR scoring format, as it is presented on screen and as I will continue to kind of position ourselves, going into this week, I would prefer to play DJ Moore and George Pickens out of that group. Thank you. Bodie Derby. Bodie, long time no see. Hope you're doing well, my man. Says PPR, Renfro, Golden, Tootin, and Benson. Pick 1. I'll take Renfro there. Christian Kirk is available on waivers. I also do have Travis Hunter. Worthy injuries killing me. Honestly, Renfro is an upgraded play today in the absence of Xavier Leggett. More target opportunity for him in the slot. Thank you. Daisy, if you do, says half PPR flex 3 between Kupp, Downs, Mooney, Rashad White, Goddard, Gainwell, and Jatavion Sanders. Kupp, Downs, Mooney, I think is the right play. Thank you. Zolbu sends in a question, nothing attached to it. Zolbu, do me a favor, type in the live chat. Thanks, man. Let's see here. Cody AC sends in a question. Says, half PPR. Should I start Pearsall or Scattaboo? I would easily start Pearsall. Also, Lost Burrow. Should I start Lawrence, Browning, or Mariota? Mariota is my suggestion. Thank you. Let's see here. Viseus sends in a question. Says, in a full PPR 10-team league, London or Kyron? I'll take London. Says, I've got Mason and Kamara starting a running back, Lamb, and yeah, play London over Kyron. Thank you. Especially in a full PPR. Timo says London or Tetero McMillan with flex Drake Mason, Tetero McMillan PPR. Okay, so here's the thing. As of right now, London will play over Tet. In a full PPR, am I playing Tetero McMillan over Mason? That is now the question that revolves. I'm not. I'm still playing Mason. If you wanted to play Tet, I don't have an issue with it. But as of right now, the way I currently have it projected, again, I haven't been able to adjust projections for the missing piece of Leggett from the equation. So I can't go in there right now considering we're mid live stream. So for now, I'm just going to still lean towards Drake and Mason. Thank you. Kevin Smith says, sup, Andrew. In a PPR, Hampton. Yeah, Jennings is out. So just play Hampton. Thank you. John's Wall says, full PPR, pick one. Debo, J.K. Dobbins, Isaiah Pacheco. Give me Debo. Thank you, John. Jesse Martinez says, struggling with this week, pick 2 full PPR out of Ridley, Johnston, Judy, and Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown, number 1. Full PPR, I probably... Ridley, number 2. Thank you. Lucas Ramirez sends in a question. Says, do I take... I get Chuba Hubbard, Lamb, and Ladd. Trade CMC and Puka. No, I'd rather have CMC Puka rest of the season. Thank you. Tommy Gunn says, tell JSN to get some damn Theraflu. Okay, dude. Yeah, I'll make sure that he gets his antibiotics in his system and his Mucinex. So whatever he needs, brother, I'll get it to him. Thanks, Tommy. Brian Mills sends in a question. Says, I need 1.5 PPR. Travion Henderson or Rashid Shaheed? That's a really good question. I think I may have Shaheed ranked higher, but let me check. Rashid. Okay, in a half PPR, I genuinely have Travion Henderson and Rashid Shaheed back-to-back ranked, and I have Henderson 1 spot ahead of him. Thank you. Riley Fiegel sends in a question. Says, in a full PPR, should I trade away Bowers, Wandell, Garrett Wilson for Brian Thomas, Terry McLaurin, and Travion Henderson? I have only Gibbs and Tracy. I need a back and have Fannin as my other tight end. Man, trading away Bowers, Garrett Wilson, Wandell Robinson for BTJ, Terry McLaurin, Travion Henderson... You know, when you need a back, I don't know if Travion Henderson's the answer. If I'm going to move Bowers and Garrett Wilson, I understand getting back BTJ is very, honestly, I think it's a comparable potential outcome in terms of the potential of, fantasy points provided to the team between Bowers and BTJ rest of the season. And I like the idea of Terry McLaurin versus Garrett Wilson in terms of this value. So I don't mind the trade. I just don't think that Travion Henderson is the short-term answer for your issue. I think you're going to go to find another, running back if you're trying to get a quote-unquote running back to fill in for your RB2. So if I'm making a trade of this caliber, I would like someone that is a little bit more immediate in terms of the value they provide to me, like a Genti or a Hall at RB rather than a Hendo. But I'm okay with the trade as a whole because I think it does provide equal value. Alex Songgrass, Alex, thank you, says, standard start 2 between Jacobs, Walker, Mason. Yeah, Jacobs and Walker are my number 1 and 2 option. Mason over Jacobs with Cleveland run stop? No, I'm okay. I'm still going to run with Jacobs there. Thank you. Standard Ted McMillan, Moore, or Sutton? Yeah, I'll take Ted or McMillan there. It says drop Fairbairn for Loop or Schrader for today and going forward. Look, the thing about Fairbairn that makes him such a great kicker is that, again, he has incredible range. I mean, again, I think he made 13 of 16 50-plus yarders last season. He's been great from 50-plus beyond thus far this season. He plays indoors at an indoor stadium, so you never have to worry about his weather concerns in comparison to Loop, etc. But I think as of this week, I'd love to play Loop or Schrader. Again, I think they're both in really advantageous positions of scoring a lot of points as an offense, which does provide a little bit more stability at the kicking, potential, because you'll not only get the field goals and the opportunity to get into field goal range consistently, but also the extra free PATs that kind of tack on within those high scoring contests. So yeah, I lean towards Loop this week. I don't have an issue with that. And honestly, Loop rest of the season is not a bad idea either. Full PPR, Ridley or JCM. I'm okay just going with Ja'Cory there. Fannin or Hawkinson. In a full PPR, it's a little bit of a flip. I would go with Fannin over Hawkinson there. in a full PPR. If it was a half, I'd go Hawk. D. Nelson says, Calvin Ridley or Jalen Warren? I'll take Jalen Warren, D. Nelson. Thank you. Javier Martinez says, Jacoby Myers, Higgins, ETN, Dobbins, pick 2. I'll take ETN and Jacoby Myers. Thank you, Javier. JT Smelik, who says, first ever super chat. Thank you, JT. I appreciate that. Says, playing the defending champ, Hurts or Caleb Williams. Dude on a 15-game winning streak. I need to end it. Wow. He is on a 15-game winning streak in your league. What an absolute machine. Look, as of right now, it would be against my religion to sit Jalen Hurts in any capacity. I could justify it with Caleb, but ultimately, I don't think I have the guts to sit Jalen Hurts in any given week. So I would suggest just playing Hurts there. Thank you. Twisted Folk sends in a question, says, half PPR, 6-point per passing touchdown league, Justin Herbert or Daniel Jones? I'm playing Justin Herbert there. Egbuka or Hampton in the flex. In a half PPR, let me see where I have Hampton in comparison to Egbuka. As it currently stands, I have Egbuka ranked higher. That's what I would suggest. Thank you. Oskino sends in a question. Says, would you trade Drake and Hampton for Evans, Etienne, and Mondre? If you're in desperate need of running back depth, sure. Otherwise, no. Your Majesty, 3585, says, Joe Burrow out. Do I play Penix, Russell, or Mariota? I would play Mariota number 1, Penix 2, Russell 3. Thank you. Dylan Feeney sends in a question. Says, would you start Caleb or Dak this week? I would prefer to play Caleb, but I do not mind playing Dak as they're both expected to have great weeks here within a shootout in Chicago. The Brooklyn Hooper says, at quarterback, are you more comfortable with Trevor Lawrence or Drake Browning? Honestly, I'm a little bit more comfortable with Trevor Lawrence because of the potential of the rushing upside that could be associated there. And I think he has a little bit of a more enticing matchup in comparison to taking on that Minnesota defense. I'm not in love with taking on Minnesota. So in this circumstance, I do prefer Trevor Lawrence ever so slightly ahead of Browning. Now, in the event in which we get into future weeks and Jake Browning, again, assimilates within this offense very quickly and gets back to his 2023 kind of campaign of his late, season antics, there are going to be a lot of circumstances in which we do prefer Jake Browning in future weeks here within better matchups of competition. Joe R sends in a question. Says, full PPR, Superflex, Allen, Bucky, Pollard, JSN, Zay Flowers, Ty Warren, Ramondre Penix. My bench consisting of Monty, Egbuka, Franklin, Pittman, Fannin. Any changes to the lineup? Okay, looking at it as a whole. You have Montgomery, you have Egbuka. Yeah, I think the question is, are we really... Okay, so this is the way that I would kind of approach this. In a full PPR scoring format, the question then now becomes, do I play Egbuka or Ramondre in the flex? I think that is where my mind immediately goes, to which I currently do have Egbuka ranked higher. So that's the only change that I theoretically make here, as I play Egbuka. If you wanted to stick with Ramondre, I don't have an issue with it, as I have them closely ranked in a full PPR, and they are in fact, they're close enough to where I don't have an issue just playing playing Ramondre. But I do have Egbuka ranked higher in this current circumstance going into the matchup. Thank you. Mr. Meeks sends in a question, says, JSN, Mason, Drake, London, Genty, full PPR start 2, got Chase Brown, Henry starting already. Okay, so if we are starting 2 of those available options, Jackson Smith and Jigba has to play. And I think also, where's my Drake London here? Drake London is there. Who do you have? You have Genty. I don't have him ranked higher than Yep, okay. So as it currently stands, you have Jordan Mason, huh? I have London ahead of him. In a full PPR, I'm going JSN and I'm going Drake London. Thank you, Mr. Meeks. Gal Sosin sends in a question, says, in a 10-team single flex half PPR format, Jalen Warren, Jordan Mason, Drake London, Mike Evans, or Roma Dunze. In a half PPR, I'm pretty sure the answer is Jordan Mason. Let me confirm. Never mind. As of right now, half PPR, I think it's actually Drake London that gets my start. It's either London, Adunze, Mason. They're all back-to-back-to-back ranked in my list. So London, Adunze, Mason, whichever way you feel about it, I have them ranked all within a singular point of projection. So really, whoever breaks for the additional unexpected touchdown or the big play after the run or catch or anything like that, that pretty much determines it. But as of right now, I lean towards London in this circumstance. Thanks, man. Says, which 2 wide receivers would you flex? Should I start those? Let's see here. 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Oh, we get to actually play more than 1. What am I talking about? Beautiful. So in that case, we play London Adunze and we flex Mason. Beautiful, Gal. There it is. I was thinking we could only play 1. Never mind. Code 8732 says, in a full PPR flex, Hollywood, Scadaboo, Algier, Jennings, or Dobbs. Pick one. In a full PPR, give me Hollywood Brown. Thank you. C. Banjo says, hi, Andrew. Forget the rankings. LOL. What's your gut say about who's wide receiver 3 between Franklin, Jennings, if he plays Wicks? ? I'd play Troy Franklin there. There's just more opportunity share. I think that's kind of my gut feeling on the matter. So Troy Franklin's my suggestion. Nicholas Casano sends in a question. Says half PPR, pick 3 between DK, Wanda, Robinson, Cup, Pacheco, and Emeka Egbuka. Yeah, DK number 1, Emeka Egbuka number 2, and Pacheco number 3. Thank you. Josh Shepard sends in a question. Says PPR, I need 2 flex between Jalen Warren, Tyler Warren, JCM, and Pearsall. Pearsall number 1, Jalen Warren number 2. Let me see where I have JCM and Tyler Warren number 3. Pearsall, Warren. Thank you, Josh Shepard. Drew Schlesinger sends in a question. Says Sutton, Swift, Pearsall, start 2. Waiting for Jennings. Yeah. Obviously, I'm catching up greatly. I'm so far behind Drew. Pearsall, Sutton, fire him up. Trader sends in a question. Trader 3 says Jacoby or ETN in the flex. If it's a full PPR, let me check where I have Jacoby. ETN is there. Jacoby Myers is still behind him. ETN plays regardless of format. Thank you. Yeah. Starting 2 Jaguars every week is a little bit of a sketchy situation, but they are the better plays. Pipe Down sends in a question, says PPR Pollard, Devontae Smith. I'll take Pollard there. Thank you. The Recovery 716 says, good morning, Andrew. Egbuka is said to be on snaps limited. Still playing him. Yeah, look, I mentioned this before, and I'll continue to reiterate this. I do not trust what Schefter and or Rappaport say in terms of the volume of opportunity a player is going to get. All I trust them to report is who is playing and who's not playing. I don't expect for those reporters to be given insider information in terms of snap counts. That's not what I expect, because I don't see an organization freely handing out that information to a reporter. So I see no competitive advantage in terms of telling Schefter that information. Therefore, I don't expect it to be accurate. But hey, who knows? As of right now, from my anecdotal experience, very seldom are those reports ever accurate. So I'll lean towards just not believing the limited nature of Egbuka's usage. Havin Slim says, drop Judy for Tyjae Spears or Najee Harris. No, I keep both those guys. Thank you. Aiden says, I need someone for my flex in a full PPR. I have Mike Evans, Michael Pittman, and Travis Etienne. In a full PPR flexible situation, my highest ranked of the group is Mike Evans. Thank you, Aiden. Poncho's Palace. Poncho, hope you're doing well. Says, who to flex in a 12-team full PPR? Running backs are playing Henry and Walker. Wide receivers are Collins and JMO. Tight end is Juwan Johnson. Flex JCM, Ferguson, Dobbins, McLaurin, Mooney, or Io Manor. You have JCM and Ferguson, yeah? Okay. Of the available options in a full PPR, I'm playing Jake Ferguson. Thank you. Josh Shepard says Jennings ruled out. I'm effed. Hunter or Njoku? Let me see where I have Hunter comparatively to Njoku. I currently have Travis Hunter ahead of Njoku. That's the direction I go in. Thank you, Josh. iShine101 says, what's up, Drew? What's up, iShine? Hope you're doing well. Says, I'm currently 0-2. I just need one of my leagues. It's at half PPR. Am I stupid for trading Justin Jefferson for Bucky? I would think it's a little bit of a preemptive trade. I don't think we want to make that as of this moment, but let's see. It says I have Drake London as my wide receiver 1, along with James Conner and Kyrie Williams as my running backs. I'd keep Justin Jefferson ultimately. I think he's just too much value to be associated with him going forward. Deeges sends in a question. Says 3 flex in a PPR. Bill, Pollard, Hampton, Golden, Diggs, Pittman, Franklin. Okay. Of the available in a full PPR format, Pittman, Pollard, Bill. Thank you. All right. Mib says, at PPR, question, Caleb Williams or Daniel Jones? Give me Caleb Williams. And then also says Olave, Wilson, or Io Manor. I will take Garrett Wilson as your wide receiver 2. Tight end, Juwan Johnson or Fannin. Give me Juwan Johnson. Thank you. Carlos Z says, agree, question. Half PPR, quarterback, Knicks, wide receiver 1, St. Brown, wide receiver 2, McMillan, RB's K9, and Genty, tight end is McBride. Debo's in my flex, McLaughlin, and Green Bay defense, JCM Petersall. As of right now, do I agree with this current iteration of the rankings? Considering where I've moved, let me see where I have Pearsall in comparison to Debo. I'm playing Pearsall ahead of Debo. That's the swap I make. I play Pearsall within your flex position here this week, Carlos. Thank you. Appreciate it. It says also, do I drop Bigsby, Tillman for Bigsby, prep for the Bipocalypse? Bigsby, drop Tillman or Bigsby. I mean, you could. I don't have an issue with that in order to prepare for Bipocalypse. I don't have an issue with dropping either. If I was going to drop one, it would be Bigsby. Thank you. Brooklyn Hooper sends in a follow-up. Says PPR, Jennings is out. Do I play DJ Moore or Dobbs? Play DJ Moore. Thank you. Jennings official. Wow, I'm that far behind in terms of questions. My gosh, guys. I'm really far behind. I'm like 30 minutes delayed. I am so sorry. Holy moly. Jay Nice says, happy Sunday, Drew. Can you rate my team on Patreon, brother? Rate your team. Let's see if I can find it really quickly. I don't know if we need rating teams. I think we need to just start lineups right now, Jay Nice. All right, let's see what you have here this week. It says, my team consists of Lamar, Puka, Igbuka, Hubbard, Swift, Ricky, Warren, Coleman, and Prater. Already played, okay. Bench consists of, I have the Colts defense this week. Yeah, you're in a good spot. Again, Puka, Igbuka, Hubbard, Swift, Pearsall, Warren. You're good to go. Pretty good spot right now, especially with Pearsall getting a little bit of an upgrade this week. Pretty good position. Obviously, in the future, we want to probably try to improve upon Swift with a potential trade, but we'll seek that in the future, weeks here to come. Thank you. Let's see what the next report is on my phone here. Okay, good to go. Continuing on, we had a question that came in from Surly W, who says, Jennings is out. Start Pearsall or Igbuka? Yeah, give me Pearsall. Thank you. Jose Dones sends in a question, says, Pacheco or Pittman? Also, why Keenan Allen over Olave? Touchdown upside. Olave doesn't, inhibit that overall potential for upside in comparison to Keenan Allen within the red zone. As for Pacheco or Pittman, it depends on scoring format ultimately. If we're talking about a half PPR, I'm a little bit more excited about the potential of Pacheco, but ultimately, I don't even think I feel great enough to even start him in this circumstance. Regardless of scoring format, I think I just go with Pittman, and I have Pacheco just prove it to me on the bench and sell him next week. Luke Larson sends in a question, says, full PPR, I need a flex between Golden, Ridley, Franklin. Full PPR, flex between those three options. Let me check my rankings. Ridley's the number 1, Franklin's number 2, Golden's 3. Thank you. Brett Wood sends in a question, says, I have Waddle, Diggs, Keenan Allen, Mooney on my bench. Okay. What level of running back could I potentially target in a trade? I mean, ultimately, I think Keenan Allen provides enough value to where, again, if you can try to go knock on a Hampton door or a Breece Hall door, I would explore those opportunities. Thank you. Flawless sends in a question, says, I need huge upside between and a half PPR, Bill, Golden, Ridley. Yeah, I'll take Bill there. Thank you. Cameron Maben, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well, my good sir. Let me see if I can have you type into the live chat if you are here. Again, I'm assuming the backlog of questions here potentially has many of you absent and or just completely stepped away from the computer. So I know that Zobu, I asked for Zobu to ask his question. Cameron Maben, if you could do me a favor, type that as well, my good sir. Thank you. Zobu says, I need a tight end and a flex between Kraft and Juwan Johnson. Okay, between those two, in a full PPR or even half PPR, I think I'd rather just play. Let me see. Where do I have Juwan Johnson on screen right now? In a full PPR, I'd go with Juwan Johnson. In a half PPR, I'll take Tucker Kraft with his touchdown upside. As for your other question in terms of flex, honestly, I'd rather just play both tight ends this week if you have the opportunity to do so. Thank you. Appreciate it, Zobu. All right, let's see where Mr. Maben's at. Okay, nothing from Maben. Let's see if Sean Fortney had sent in a question. Nothing from Sean. I'm assuming, again, yeah. This is why we got to have questions attached to it. Otherwise, we get cooked here. Thank you. All righty. Zobu, thank you. Appreciate it. Cash Kid Cardi, Rome, or Nico in a standard. Honestly, I'd try to play both, but if I had to pick one, it's Nico Collins there, my man. Thank you. Okay. Continuing on. Let me see if I can try to catch up as best as I can, guys. I know I'm definitely backlogged here. Okay, where are we at? So, oh my gosh. Chris Hammers, we're also looking for your question in the live chat. If you could type that in, my man. Danny D says, how comfortable are we with Mac or Mariota? Yeah, I'm very comfortable with Mariota over Mac. Thank you. And T-Law. T-Law's an interception machine. WWE Fanatic 714 says, Johnston, Dobbs, or Marvin Harrison? I'd go with Marvin Harrison. Penix or Lawrence? Give me Lawrence. Thank you. Code 8732 says, can you answer my question, Please, full PPR flex, Hollywood Brown, Scatterboo, Algier, Dobbs. Pick one. Hollywood Brown's my suggestion. Thank you, Code. Brooklyn Hooper sends in a follow-up. Says, full PPR, Stranger, Hawkinson at tight end. Give me Hawkinson. Anthony Gonzalez says, BTJ, McMillan, James Conner, Ricky Pearsall, Terry McLaurin. I need 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. Tedero and McMillan, Ricky Pearsall, James Conner. No, sorry. Scratch that. James Conner's on the outside looking in. It's BTJ, McMillan, and Pearsall. Thank you. Alex Olivas. Alex, long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Says, hey, Andrew, in a half PPR. Last flex spot. Golden, Mooney, Tootin. In a half PPR. Let me see where I have Tootin ranked compared to Mooney. I have Tootin ranked the highest of the group. Bucks and Chiefs defense, and why? Chiefs defense because they play against Russell Wilson. That's why. Thank you, brother. Mad Dogs ABs sends in a question. Says, full PPR, Jordan Mason or Ricky Pearsall. I'd still lean towards playing Jordan Mason there. Thank you. Okay, let's get to the live chat. Let's see if I ended up having Chris Hammers send in his question. Hammers says, hey, Andrew, in a full PPR, starting Christian McCaffrey at RB1. I need an RB2 and a wide receiver 1 and 2 in the flex. Okay. I have Bucky, Mason, Walker. Okay, I mean, honestly, if you're starting an RB2 out of this group, it ends up being Walker. In the event in which it's a full PPR, Bucky ends up being your flex, and you end up playing London and JSN as your 1-2 combo. You have too many good players, Chris. I think that's just kind of the blessing and the curse that you may be revolving around. Mabin's out of here. Okay, no problem. I apologize for that. Zolbu we took care of, but we'll go ahead and write Mabin's name in the future in case he wants to return to the mix. Thank you. Alrighty. Let me see here. All right, let's do that. Good to go. All right, catching up slowly, but we're about an hour away. I'm trying my best. Holy shit. The backlog is so ridiculous. Where did I even leave off? We took care of Olivas. We took care of that. Okay, the man 0907. Sorry. The man 0907 says pick 5 out of these 6 in a half PPR. Josh Jacobs, Jordan Mason, Chase Brown, Mike Evans, JSN, Ricky Pearsall. Okay. Of the available options, odd man out is Ricky Pearsall. Everybody else starts. Thank you. Alejo says full PPR. Hurts versus the Rams or Jared Goff versus the Ravens. Give me Hurts versus the Rams. Thank you. Eric sends in a question. Lansdowne, who says full PPR, but 1 point per 10 yards and 1 point for 5 rushing yards. Montgomery or Sutton. Give me Montgomery. Thank you. WWE Fanatic says Garrett Wilson or Drake London in a standard. Give me Drake London. Thank you. Moon is 007. Says full PPR. Pick 2 running backs and 1 flex. Between Chase Brown, Mason, Kamara, Sutton, Pearsall, Igbuka, Hollywood, and Franklin. Okay. 2 running backs and 1 flex. Out of those available options, I'm playing all 3 of your running backs. Mason, Kamara, Chase Brown. Thank you. Brutus 0919. Says, in a 12-team half PPR, Pacheco or Bill? Give me Bill. Thank you. Jesse G says, Troy Franklin, Pearsall, Pittman. Give me Pearsall. Thank you very much for the happy birthday wishes as well. Evan, Senate. If you can, Evan, do me a favor. Retype in your question into the live chat when you get an opportunity. Thank you. Jawan Flythe says, pick 2, Ricky, Debo, Pollard, PPR. Give me both of the receivers. Give me Ricky P and give me Debo Samuel. Thank you. Trevor Melville says in a full PPR, last spot, JCM or Quentin Johnston. Give me JCM. Thank you. Andrew Mitchell says in a 6 point per touchdown league, Penix, Mariota, Mack, Browning, Aaron Rodgers. Give me Mariota. Thank you. Eric. Eric sends in a question, says in a half PPR, can I drop Pittman and Coleman for Dobbs? You could, but I prefer not to. Thank you. James Grover says PPR, JCM or Hampton. I have JCM ranked higher. Harrison or Pickens. I'd rather play Pickens. Thank you. Flux Capacitor says Wicks or Ridley in Standard League. I'd rather play Ridley. Thank you. Diego A says PPR, Bo Nix or Caleb Williams. Give me Caleb Williams. JS Peer says, or J Spear says, PPR flex Golden, Mooney, or Tootin. In a full PPR, at that point, it's a little bit of a different question. I think Mooney is my highest ranked. That is correct. I would rather play Mooney over the group. As for your next question, Kelsey or Ferguson, full PPR. Honestly, I prefer Kelsey, but I don't mind going Fergie. Cameron Maben, there it is. Full question. Thank you. Full PPR, sit one. Kamara, Javante, Mason. If I'm sitting one of the group, oh man, that is a horridly difficult question. As it currently stands, Mason is on the outside looking in because I don't know what kind of receiving workload he's going to be exposed to today. I'd lean towards just playing Kamara and Javante there, Cameron. Thank you, sir. Michael Schmidt says, Jordan Mason or Chuba Hubbard? Give me Jordan Mason. Troy Anderson says, half PPR. I need one flex, Hampton or Pearsall? Give me Pearsall. Jay Nice says, question and Patreon. Okay, Jay Nice. Let me see if I have a potential of checking out if you had a follow-up there in regards to that. Okay, we already took care of that earlier. Never mind. Daniel B sends in a question. Start two. Etienne, Pollard, Pearsall. Give me Etienne and Pearsall. Thank you, Daniel B. Jonathan Del Angel says, Jake Browning or Sam Darnold? As it currently stands, I have Jake Browning ranked higher. Tars sends in a question. Says, full PPR, start one. JCM, Pacheco, Judkins. Judkins is the odd man out. So is Pacheco. Give me JCM. Give me Bill. Frosty sends in a question. Frosty, I saw you in the chat earlier. Let me see if your question is potentially... I see Frosty. He says, greetings and salutations. I'm facing Gibbs and Lamar this week, so I'm looking for someone reasonable with a boom potential. Rank these in a PPR. Hubbard, Jalen Warren, Sutton, Moore, and Pearsall. Hubbard's number 1, Pearsall's 2, Jalen Warren's 3, DJ Moore's 4, Sutton is 5. Thank you. Appreciate it, Frosty. Commanders managing. Okay, good to go. Evan, what's up, my man? Okay, I see it. Evan says, full PPR, Egbuka, Olave, or Terry McLaurin. Great question. Let me see where I have them ranked. McLaurin in a half PPR in comparison to the group. Egbuka, Olave, Terry McLaurin. As it currently stands, Olave is my highest ranked in a full PPR. It would go Olave 1, Egbuka 2, Terry McLaurin 3. Thank you, Evan. I appreciate the patience. Again, next time, if you can, attach your question to the super. Thank you, my man. Alrighty, we took care of that. We're continuing on. We have a question that comes in from, I believe the next on this list is from Lewis, who says, Pacheco, Troy Franklin, Tootin, half PPR. At that point, I'll just play Pacheco and I'll risk the biscuit. Let's see here. Also, Merco, 74089 says, half PPR Hampton or Pickens? Just give me Pickens at that point. Teddy H sends in a question. Says, start one in a running back and flex capacity, full PPR. Pollard, Stevenson, Pacheco, DJ Moore, Io Manor, Wando Robinson. Okay. Pollard and DJ Moore are my answer, Teddy H. Also, I have May starting. Should I start Kyler instead? As of right now, I would prefer to play Kyler, but he's one spot ahead of him. Honestly, you can flip a coin on that. The projections I have between the two of them are relatively close. Gucci Han, Louis Han sends in a question. Says, my man, I kind of want to start Mariota over Rodgers, which you should, in a full PPR league, but I never start players against my IRL teams, the Raiders. Stick with A-Rod or Marcus. If you have a potential way in which you go about your business, I'm not here to potentially intervene in that. If you want to play A-Rod, play A-Rod. I don't have an issue with it. But you see my rankings on screen. Alex Olivas says, Renfro with Leggett out. Olivas, I got to figure out what your prior question was so I can actually put the context to that. So you would ask, yes, I would rather at that point just play Renfro now. Thank you. W. Proc says, in a full PPR flex, Jamison Williams or Jalen Warren. I'd rather play Jalen Warren. It says, I have Hubbard and Genty as my RBs. Nakua, and yeah, I'd rather just play Jalen Warren there. Thank you. Appreciate it, Proc. Justin F says, start 3 in a full PPR. Jacobs, Mason, Walker, Chase Brown. The odd man out in this scenario, I believe, it's Chase Brown. I would start Jacobs, Mason, and Walker ahead of him. Darn97 says, in a full PPR league, Robinson or Pittman? Give me Wanda Robinson full PPR. Thank you. Chris Berardi says, in a full PPR league, do I start Chuba or Pearsall? Technically, in a full PPR, Chuba would be there, and Pearsall would be at my... I'd still play Chuba Hubbard. I could justify the potential of it, but I just don't have him. Yeah, I wouldn't even have him higher ranked. I don't know. It's tough. Considering I haven't had enough time to kind of sit down and project it out, I could justify the Pearsall play, but I'm going to go with Chuba Azar right now. Super Dave sends in a question. Says PPR Flex 1, Fannin, Harvey, Marks, Monungai. Of the available Fannin starts. Thank you. Avery Strauss sends in a question. Says full PPR, Chase Brown, DK Metcalf, DJ Moore. I'd play Chase Brown there. Thank you. MTD underscore says PPR, can you compare Emeka plus Keenan this week for me since they're ranked back-to-back so I can get more informed on the decision? Yeah, the only reason Emeka Buka even sits there is because of the Jets matchup and his potential health concerns. That's really the only reason why he sits there. And additionally, because he has such high touchdown upside. Otherwise, had he been fully healthy this entire week, I don't think it would even be close. I think I'd have him a little bit ranked higher in comparison to Keenan Allen. So I think under the assumption that he does play at that full capacity that we're anticipating, he's even a better play than where he currently is instead of this back-to-back. The only reason I have him there is because I'm afraid of, like, what if he does end up playing and he re-aggravates the injury and then he exits? That's the only reason that they're even remotely close. Thank you. FRS VCDS says Pearsall or Tet. As of right now, Petero McMillan. Thank you. Q Verks says in a half PPR play 3 between Higgins, Igbuka, Moore, and Montgomery. In a half PPR, Higgins is the odd man out. I play everybody else. Thank you. To the max says full PPR, Rashad White or pick up Henderson. I'd rather just go with Henderson in a full PPR. Rashad White doesn't get any targets as of late, as in like the last 4 games of his career. Josh says pick 2 in a PPR. Pearsall, Pickens, Etienne, Moore. Give me Etienne and Pearsall. Thank you. Juice Vino says, hey Andrew, full PPR, Kyron or Pearsall? Give me Pearsall. Thank you. Blue Collar Trades says, with JSN with flu-like symptoms, who do I start, JSN or Sutton? Play JSN. Thank you. I'd even play Jason over Wilson. I don't have an issue with that. If I'm starting 2, then Wilson will be the number 2 option in this circumstance. But JSN is my number 1 across the board. David Morgan says, full PPR. I need a flex between Dobbins, Pickens, and Hollywood Brown. In a full PPR, Pickens versus Hollywood. Let me see. In a full PPR, give me Hollywood Brown. Thank you. Jackson Wambach sends in a question. Says in a full PPR, pick 2, Myers, Tet, Pickens, Ricky. Ricky Pearsall, Jacoby. Oh, wow. Wait, where's Tetero? Yeah, Jacoby Myers, Tetero McMillan. That's probably the go-to. Those are the 2 that I play. Myers, Tet. Thank you. Tan Fam sends in a question. Says Pearsall, DJ Moore, Wanda Robinson. Pearsall's my play. Thank you, Tan. iShine 101 says full PPR pick 1, flex spot, Pittman, Ramondre, Omarion Hampton, Wando Robinson, Jerry Jeudy. Pittman. Wando Robinson's my start. Thank you. Angel sends in a question. Angel Marufo says half PPR, Jennings is out, Pearsall or Pickens? Give me Pearsall. Thank you. Rico Gaming says, who should I start in the flex? Full PPR, Rome or Kraft or Pollard? Give me Rome Adunze. Thank you. Rogo says, good morning, my bro. You said to go Swift/McConkey, but I'm scared due to the limitations. Your thoughts on this about Kirk, keep Ryland and stream McManus or Romo? I'm okay streaming McManus or Romo in this circumstance. I have no issue with that at all. In regards to your question, you should just play those 2. I wouldn't be concerned about any sort of limitation. It's just precautionary. Ahmed E sends in a question. Says full PPR. Flex Ridley, Tootin, Franklin, or Algier. Ridley's my highest ranked. Thank you. Alejo says full PPR. Ladd, McLaurin, or Hampton. Ladd. Thank you. Boone says start 1 flex full PP. Start 1 PPR. Dobbs, Scadaboo, or Travis Hunter. Let me see where I have Scadaboo comparatively to the bunch. Travis Hunter is ranked. Romeo Dobbs is my highest ranked, Boone. Thank you. Turd Ferguson sends in a question. Says start Kyler or Daniel Dimes and why? Ultimately, if you want to hear why, I would say just go to the video I posted earlier this week for the extended kind of conversation regarding it. When you take on the Tennessee Titans, it's as easy as it gets. Daniel Dimes has too much rushing touchdown upside, which really makes it unfair. He's kind of a cheat code for fantasy purposes because of it. Adam Amar says Pickens or Connor, full PPR. Give me Connor. Ocho Ball sends in a question. Thank you very much, Ocho. Says the following. Need to in the flex, half PPR. Pearsall, Pickens, Bill, Krosky, Merritt. As of right now, half PPR between the bunch. Let me see where I have Pickens in comparison to Merritt. I currently have Pickens ahead of him, so I'm playing both receivers. Give me Pearsall, give me Pickens. Thank you. Spencer P sends in a question. Says, should I play Igbuka on a snap count or Harrison Jr.? As of right now, as it stands, I currently have I have Marvin Harrison Jr. ahead of Emeka Egbuka this week, so I would tell you to play Harrison. Thank you. Continuing on, we had a question from William Campbell, who says half PPR in the flex, Hubbard or McMillan? That's a good question. I probably end up going with Hubbard there. I think Leggett being out certainly provides potential for the answer to be McMillan. I just don't know. Let me see here. I don't know if I arrive at that conclusion, though. I think I still play Hubbard in this circumstance. Thank you. If you want to play McMillan, I don't have an issue with it. In terms of my flex rankings, they will be separated by 3 overall ranks with the new information of Leggett being inactive. iShine101 says DK or Ramondre in a full PPR. Give me DK Metcalf there. Loki Dusty says in a flex, full PPR, Golden, Travion Henderson, and Scattaboo. Full PPR, I'm not playing Golden. Unless he makes one singular huge play, I'm just ending up playing Travion Henderson there. Thank you. Alex McFadden says Pearsall or McLaurin. Give me Pearsall there. Thank you very much, Alex. It's very generous of you. Isaac Jones says in a 1 quarterback, 4 point per passing touchdown league, would you play Mariota, Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, or Darnold? I would play Mariota. Thank you. I am sends in a question. Says drop Knicks for Jones or give him another week. I mean, considering how advantageous of a matchup that Daniel Jones has, I would just pick him up. Do I drop Knicks in order to accomplish that? I'm not feeling like you need to, but in the event in which that is the potential swap off, then sure, let's make it. Let's see. Tatsy? I don't know. Who do I start in the flex? Half PPR. Wando Robinson, Ramondre Stevenson, or Marquise Hollywood Brown. Give me Ramondre. Why is Wando Robinson so low in your rankings? Because, look, here's the primary reason, right? When you go and you take on the Cowboys secondary, who, again, didn't have Deron Bland last week, also had Kyer Elam, which is one of the... He's given up, I think, the 6th or 7th most receiving yards to opposing wide receivers thus far this season. It was an incredibly advantageous matchup for Wando Robinson last week. But now you have to take on Trent McDuffie for a majority of this game. That is not a matchup I am looking forward to for him. Therefore, I would prefer to play Ramondre there. Dejuan Golden says, why is Chuba Hubbard so low? He's not low, trust me. Says, I have AK, ETN, and Genti too. Yeah, I am perfectly fine with playing all of those potential options, but as to how I currently have it ranked, in a half PPR, Jesus Christ, my brain. Excuse me. As it is demonstrated on screen, I currently have Chuba Hubbard ranked the lowest of the group. It's not that he is like a terrible play, not by any means, but the run-stop defense of that matchup is definitely not easy, especially if, in fact, the Falcons take an early lead. Chuba Hubbard's going to have to make a lot of progress within the receiving game in garbage time. The last 2 weeks, he's benefited from garbage time receiving touchdowns. Andrew Mitchell says, point per completion, Russ, A-Rod, Wentz, Mariota. Still, thank you. Taylor B sends in a question. Okay, I'm sure I forgot somebody else's question here in the meanwhile, but Taylor B, if you can do me a favor, type your question into the live chat. Thank you. Lucky Penny 89 sends in a question. Maybe Taylor B has sent in another question attached with a super? No. Okay. Lucky Penny 89 says, wide receiver 2 and flex. Egbuka, Ricky Pearsall, Pickens. Pickens and Pearsall. Thank you. Billy Roy says, what up, Andrew? In a full PPR flex, Wandell, Pearsall, JMO. Give me Pearsall. Easy. Thank you. Rico Gaming says, RB2, Kyron or Pollard in a full PPR. As it currently stands in a full PPR scoring format, I have Kyron Williams ahead of Tony Pollard. Thank you. Andrew Mitchell says 0 points per reception, still Pickens over Swift and more. No. At that point, I just play Swift. Pedro's Lucario sends in a question. Says standard flex, wait on JSN or start ETN. I would just play JSN. Again, well, you know what? Because it's a 0 point per reception league standard, you're better off just rolling with ETN just because of the format itself. But again, I have a hard time not playing JSN regardless of format. But considering the circumstance, of 0 points per reception, and that's where JSN finds his vast majority of his value. I get it. TC sends in a question, says full PPR flex, need one, Devontae Adams, Zay Flowers, Jordan Mason. Of the group full PPR, Zay Flowers is my highest ranked. Thank you. Let's see here. Chorizo sends in a question. Says PPR, BTJ, Pickens, T-Mac, Jacoby. I need 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. Everybody starts except for Pickens. Thank you, Chorizo. Arda sends in a question. Says start Myers over Sutton, DJ Moore. If I have Bowers, I would still play both Raiders. Thank you. Matt Glore sends in a question. Says PPR, Keenan Allen or Marvin Harrison. In a PPR, I have Keenan Allen ranked higher. It says in Jordan Mason or Jalen Warren. I would rather play Jordan Mason. Starting Kyler, but projections say I win by 35. I just want players with high floors. Yeah, I think you're in a safe position to go Keenan, Mason, and Kyler. You're good to go. iShine101 says Stevenson, Pittman, or Mario and Hampton in a full PPR. Give me Stevenson. Thank you. Let me get into the live chat really quickly here and see if I can find a question from Taylor B. Taylor says, happy fantasy Sunday, Andrew. In a full PPR, I need an RB2, 2 flex, and a tight end between Connor, Kyron, Tyler Warren, Laporta, Jamison Williams, Pearsall, and Wanda Robinson. Thank you, Taylor. In regards to your question, the best available running backs are clear and away going, okay, yeah, if I'm going to pick one running back, I'm playing Connor today. If I'm going to pick 2 flex options in a full PPR, I'm playing Ricky Pearsall alongside of Kyron, and then I'm just playing Tyler Warren there. Thank you. Okay, let me see if Sean had come back into the chat. Sean Fortney, no, Sean. Okay, very well. LZ7, nope, gone. Okay, very well. Very well. Okay, for those of you who are joining us this morning, welcome, good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Hopefully I was able to answer your question, whether it is a direct line via the rankings on screen, whether it was via proxy of answering somebody else's question. If I was not able to answer your question, yet again, we still have 37 minutes of this live stream to try to get to those questions. I appreciate you guys being patient. We'll continue on. Let's see here. We had a question that came in from Jeff Ricklin, who says in a full PPR pick 2 between DJ Moore, JCM, Scadabu, Emeka, and Pearsall. Of the available options, give me Pearsall and DJ Moore there, Jeff. Says I have 2 flex spots and 2 wide receiver spots to start. Oh, okay. So you have 5 players and 4 spots available. The odd man out is Scadabu. Everybody else starts. Thank you. Clark Caldwell says full PPR, Judy or Montgomery. I'd rather play Montgomery, legitimately. Tony Scandin, says full PPR, Dobbins or DJ Moore. Give me DJ Moore. Adam Amar says Jawan Johnson, Pitts, Ingram, full PPR, Dynasty, drop Ingram. I have no problem dropping Ingram. He has a back issue. He didn't play much in the last couple weeks anyway. Jawan Johnson's my suggestion. Denon says Aaron Rodgers or Marcus Mariota. I'd rather play Marcus Mariota. AV says PPR, need a flex between Hall, McMillan, Hollywood. Give me McMillan. Thank you. Justin Mashad says flex 1, PPR, Franklin, Dobbs, Johnston. Of the group, I currently have Franklin ranked the highest in a full PPR. Thank you. Caden sends in a question. Caden, do me a favor. Type it in the live chat when you get an opportunity to. Otherwise, let me check if you already did. You already did. Beautiful. Start 2, Hubbard, Hall, Higgins, Franklin, Pickens. If I'm starting 2, I'd like to know the scoring format. In the event in which it is a half PPR, I'll take both running backs. In the event in which it is a full PPR, give me Pickens alongside of Hubbard. Thank you. Continuing on, we go to a question that comes in from El Pollo 33. JCM or Marvin Harrison, full PPR. Give me Marvin Harrison. Jonathan sends in a question. Says I need to drop one. Mariota, Harvey, Hunter, Olave. If you're dropping 1 for Mariota, Travis Hunter's the drop. I hate it, but it is. Chris Moraga sends in a question. Says in a half PPR flex, Olave, JCM, or Diggs? Let me see where I have JCM comparatively to Olave. I believe he is higher ranked, but I just want to confirm where I have Corey Krosky Merritt. He is ahead of him. Ja'Cory is my answer for the half PPR question, Chris. Half PPR tight end question you may have is Laporta and Ferguson. I would prefer to play Laporta against that Baltimore defense. Final question, PPR wide receiver. I would play Pearsall there. And that's the way I go about it, brother. Thank you. Stephen Bracken sends in a question. Not really a question, just a matter of a good morning, sir. Good luck to you today. Thank you very much. I've needed a lot of luck. It's been a very long morning, but I'm trying my best. Thank you, Stephen. The Novelist says standard. Stafford, Penix, or Mariota. Give me Mariota. Thank you. Excel Toner says T. Higgins or Calvin Ridley. Give me T. Higgins. Tex Raider says full PPR. Start 2. Ridley, Marvin Harrison, Egbuka, Olave. Safer floor plays. If I'm going to play floor this week of the group, I go with Olave and Marvin Harrison as my floor players. Thank you. Unholy Trinity says, in my flex, Smitty, Algier, Judy, or Io Manor. Of the group, flex, PPR, I'm okay going Jerry Judy there. Thank you. Matt Davis says, Scadaboo or Pittman in a full PPR. Give me Pittman. Thank you. Okay, N8 says, PPR, flex, Hall, Jacoby, or Terry. Give me Jacoby Myers. Thank you. B. Morales, 3000 says, flex, Swift, Bill, Pickens, Pearsall. Give me Pearsall. Thank you. Hakeem sends in a question. Says, Kamara, Chase Brown, or Jacoby Myers. Half PPR. Give me, I believe, in a half PPR, Chase Brown. Thank you. We continue with Jorge Perez, who sends in a question. Jorge, thank you. Let me see if your question was in the live chat, my brother. Says, good morning, Andrew. In a full PPR, currently have Purdy on bench. I picked up Penix as a backup. Just saw your rankings and Mariota is available. Should I drop Penix for Mariota? This is just a 1 week play. If you were trying to keep Penix for the rest of the season because you are expecting to play him in the future, then it's probably in your best interest to keep him. But otherwise, if we're talking purely about a 1 week play because Purdy most likely returns next week, I would rather have Mariota in my lineup. Thank you. Okay. Where are we at? We've caught up with all of that. We're good to go. We move on to a question that comes in from Andrew Mitchell, who says, forgot about Bill. So him or Swift? As of right now, Swift or Bill, I'm going to lean towards playing Swift. Thank you. We continue with a question from Adam Amar. Says, Ridley's droppable in Dynasty. What Ingram's upside? Ingram, again, he's not even utilized correctly within the offense. I don't know why they spent all the money for him unless they have something planned for him later or unless he's been really injured the last couple of weeks, to which that has been the primary reason for his inability. As of right now, though, is Ridley droppable? No, not yet. Caden sends in a question. Says, Mason or Hall full PPR? I'd rather play Jordan Mason. Thank you. Let's see here. Nijaz Most sends in a question. Says, sup, Drew? Ever consider posting the questions on screen? Yeah, look, here's the issue with posting the questions on screen. I have considered it. The only issue is the frequency of speed at which I go about hitting some of these questions back to back to back makes it so where, like, long story short, I've considered it. I've done it in the past, and it becomes a real big problem for me. Let's just put it that way. So I have found that it is easier to just do it this way. I got to make my life a little bit easier. I know in terms of absorbing the questions and knowing where I'm at in terms of the questions, it's difficult, but in terms of making my life easier, it's better off this way. Thoughts on Kraft? Should be at a full capacity. I'm not concerned about him. I have him a little bit lower ranked than he probably was on Thursday, but just as a precautionary measure. Not too much, though. TC sends in a question, says, Devontae Adams or Jordan Mason today? I'd rather play Jordan Mason. Thank you. Jake D'Antonio sends in a question. Says, PPR Mark Andrews or Harold Fannin? In a PPR, I'd rather play Harold Fannin. Thank you. Christian Taylor says, hey, questions in the chat. Christian, thank you. I appreciate it. Let me go ahead and check the live chat right now. Christian Taylor says, I got offered Genty and Jamison Williams from McBride in a PPR dynasty. I have Bauer. Should I do it? Yes. I'd take Genty rest of... Yeah, if it's a dynasty league, I would absolutely feel comfortable making that move. Thank you. Alrighty, we continue on from a question from Philip R, who says, Knicks or Jones? I'd rather play Daniel Jones. Jonnu or Njoku? I'd rather play Njoku. Troy Franklin or Judy? I'd rather play... It depends on format. If we're talking about a half PPR, give me Judy. If we're talking about a full PPR, give me Franklin. Thank you. Aaron Northcutt. Thank you very much, Aaron. Hope you're doing well. DJ Moore or Jamison Williams? Give me DJ Moore. Weston Nelson says, Cup or McLaurin with JSN with flu-like symptoms? I would still rather play McLaurin. Thank you. Shackle Free 06 sends in a question. Says, in a half PPR, drop for Kirk. Harvey, Judy, Franklin, Judkins. Nope, I would not drop any of them. Thank you. Mustafa sends in a question. Says, hey, Andrew, Krosky, Merritt, or Egbuka full PPR? Give me Egbuka there. Says, and for tight ends, who should I start between Hawkinson, Kraft, and Pitts? Play Kraft. Thank you. Kevin Perdomo sends in a question. Says, I need a wide receiver in a flex in a full PPR between Sutton, McLaurin, DJ Moore, Kyron Williams, Dobbins, and Ramondre. Okay, got some good options here available. Of the available options, though, let me see where I have Kyron comparatively in a full PPR, and I'll let you know where we're going in terms of suggestions. As it currently stands, of the available players that you've mentioned, where do you have at wide receiver? You have DJ Moore, McLaurin, Sutton. Okay. Of the available options, I'm playing DJ Moore and I'm playing Kyron Williams. Thank you. Barry Volk. Barry, thank you. Says, hello, Andrew. Half PPR Superflex. I'm thinking about pulling Bryce at quarterback and replacing with Genty or Pearsall. Your thoughts? Yes, I'm okay with that. Usually, I like to play quarterback in this circumstance, but considering you have Genty available, I'd make the swap. Ball Knower says, start two. Pacheco, Bill, Pearsall. Give me Bill and Pearsall. Thank you. MC says questions in the chat. Thank you, MC. I'm going to get to it right now. Until then, Aaron Northcutt says Jamison Williams or Keenan Allen half PPR. Again, a reminder, rankings on screen are for a half PPR. I have Keenan Allen 2 spots ahead of JMO, and that's how I would suggest it against, again this week. So play Keenan there. MC says full PPR for the flex. Pick one. Chase Brown, Jacoby Myers, Terry McLaurin, Montgomery, Keenan Allen. Chase Brown is my highest ranked of the bunch in a full PPR. That is my suggestion. Thank you. Effectively have caught up. I appreciate y'all being patient. Again, someone's asking Mariota or Browning. I have Fields and Burrow on IR. I would play Mariota this week. Thank you. Jerry Jeudy or Michael Pittman. I'd rather play Pittman Jr. Marvin Harrison or Jawan Johnson. It depends on format purely. If we're talking half PPR, I'm okay with Marvin. If we're talking full, I think I end up just going Jawan Johnson there. Thank you. Okay. My leg is falling asleep the way that I have it currently positioned, so I'm going to have to just slightly adjust the way I'm sitting here. Otherwise, I might have an actual injury by the end of this live stream. I might be put on the injury report for next week if I keep sitting this way. Okay. Blue Sneeze sends in a follow-up. Says PPR, pick one for my flex. McConkey, Hubbard, Ridley. In a full PPR, let me check here. McConkey, where art thou, Mr. McConkey? Hubbard, Ridley. I'd play Hubbard this week. Thank you. Okay, what did we have here? I'm checking, and we have a couple notifications here. Stu, what's up, man? Stu, you have my rankings. I'm not sure why you need me to answer these questions, brother. What do you have here, Stu? Okay, Stu, what are your questions? It says, hey, coach. Do we like Pickens over DJ Moore? In a PPR, no. I'd rather play DJ Moore, I believe. Let me check. DJ Moore is ranked higher in a full PPR in comparison to Pickens. It says, how do we feel about Cortland Sutton after last week? Last week doesn't bother me at all. Looking at your team, Ja'Cory Krosky, Merritt, or play other bet. No, you're good to go there on this Ja'Cory flex play. You're good to go there. As for this other league, ETN or one of these alternative options, no, I'd rather play ETN. You're good to go there, Stu. Hopefully you can hear me on the live stream, my man. Alrighty. Constantino, what's up? It says Kyron or Pickens? I'd rather play Kyron. Thank you. Let's see here. Full PPR, Garrett Wilson, Genty, Mike Evans, BTJ. That's a really interesting question. I probably end up going with Genty and Evans there. I'm going to be honest. Cash Kid says Bucky or Jacobs in a standard. I'd rather play Jacobs. Omarion Hampton or Bill Krosky Merritt. I'd rather play Bill. Joseph Mai says Sutton, JCM or Pollard in the flex. Full PPR. I'd rather play Pollard. Actually, let me see. Nope. I have Cortland Sutton ranked the highest. Apologies. Okay, we had a question from the, I believe, from after Blue Sneeze, we had Rogo who says, hit the like button, y'all, over 1K. Let's go. Yeah, if you guys can do me a favor. Again, if you guys appreciate me live streaming on a Sunday morning for 3 hours straight, absolutely destroying my mental, please do me a favor. Click the like button down below. It is greatly appreciated. Again, it takes a half a second of effort, and it continues to help support this channel get to our steps of one by one, one step at a time, trying to get closer and closer to 100K subscribers. Lucky Penny, I apologize. I completely forgot. Thank you for the follow-up. Thank you for reminding me. Lucky Penny, what is your question, my man? Do me a favor and type it in the chat. I apologize for that. Okay, until Lucky Penny types that in, I'm going to continue on with some of these other questions that were sent in from Damien, who says full PPR, Njoku or Pitts? Give me Pitts. Also, who do I flex between Pollard, Hollywood, Pearsall, Chubb, and Wandell? Give me Pearsall there, Damien. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it again. The Beaver sends in a question. Beaver, where's your question? Says, hey, Andrew, I forgot to type my question. No problem. Just go ahead and type that in right now. I'm more than happy to help. Beaver says, but my question is in a full PPR, start 2 in 1 flex. Okay. Higgins, DJ Moore, Pickens, Pollard. Cool. In a full PPR, Pickens, Pollard, Moore. That is who I am starting this week. Thank you, brother. Okay, we continue on. Where is Lucky Penny? Where art thou, my good sir? Samaj sends in a question. Says, how confident are we with Pearsall over Debo? I'm very confident in that. Pearsall is going to have himself, again, I think this is a week in which Pearsall pretty much does what I need him to do. And what I mean by that is I think he wins me the week in a lot of the leagues that I'm playing in. Nick L says, hey, brother, questions in the chat. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that, my man. PPR Flex 1, Adams, JSN, Kamara, Etienne, Igbuka, Sutton. Worried about JSN and his health today. If you're worried about his health, you just play Kamara. In the event in which you are like me and you're not worried about it, you just play JSN. Thank you. Appreciate it, my man. Alrighty, where are we? We are looking for Lucky. Lucky says, my question was never answered. Lucky, where did you go, brother? Lucky, where are you? Just type it in the live chat. You don't have to send in a super chat or anything. Just type it in the live chat, man. All right, we had a question from Romo. Was better than Aikman. What a name, huh? 6 point per passing touchdown, Mayfield or May, and Daniel Jones or Goff. If they're both 6 point per passing touchdown leagues, I'd play Mayfield and I would play Goff. Thank you. Continuing on, we had a question that comes in from Bryce, who says half PPR, start in the flex, ETN, Metcalf, Keenan Allen, Swift, or Judy. If we're playing one in the flex, of the available options, ETN is the answer. Thank you. Diana sends in a question. Says, how much do we trust Mariota? Start McLaurin over Quentin Johnston? Absolutely yes. Also, how do we feel about starting Ertz? I'm feeling very comfortable with starting all of the receiving options. I am very comfortable that the Commanders are winning this game. That's how confident I am in Marcus Mariota, guys. So yes, Ertz, McLaurin, Debo, JCM, Mariota, fire them all up. John Garcia says Swift, Chubb, Scary Terry. Of the available, I'm going to go with Swift and a half, Terry and a full. Oskino sends in a question. Says in a follow-up, if my running back depth is Hubbard, Pollard, Tootin, Hampton, CD is my wide receiver 1, would you trade Drake London and Hampton for Etienne, Mondre, and Mike Evans? You know, I can justify the trade. I just still don't like it. I think just give Hampton a couple more weeks. I mean, ultimately, I get it. If you want to make this trade and you feel comfortable doing so, go for it. I am not in a position to where I feel comfortable moving off of London nor Hampton at the current value propositions of which you are moving off on them. I think there's so much more to claim in the not so distant future. Yeah, I'm leaning towards keeping what you have there, my man. Thank you. All right, Lucky, where are you at? Says in a full PPR, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Help. Igbuka, Ricky Pearsall, Pickens. Beautiful. Again, I apologize for the lag on the response there, Lucky. Thank you for your patience. Ricky Pearsall, George Pickens. Those are my 2 suggestions for this week. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oskino was saying I also have Henderson. Yeah, no, I get it. I think I'm keeping what you have. I'm going to be honest. Alrighty, let's see here. We're catching up on some of these questions before we begin the kickoff of Week 3 Sunday. Again, I hope you guys are doing well. Joshua Legg, sends in a question and says the following. We're back. Full PPR, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Okay. 2 flex, 1 other RB. Breece Hall, James Conner, Wandale Robinson, Pacheco Ridley. Okay. Of your available options, I am playing Breece, James Conner, and Wandale Robinson in a full PPR. Thank you. Says also got my hands on Warren for Coleman. Week 1 thoughts. Yeah, that's beautiful. Tyler Warren from Coleman is an absolute steal. Congratulations. Hank Hennig sends in a question. Says PPR. Now that Jennings is out, do I start Pearsall, Mason, or Connor? 2 running backs and a flex. Hank, you're going to have to re-ask your question because it feels like you are... Oh, it's RB2 and a flex. My apologies. Never mind. You don't have to re-ask your question. I just have to go look at my rankings for a full PPR, whether Connor would be absorbed accordingly. Here's my thought process. I really like Connor this week. And I don't know if that's I really like Connor. Enough to where like I feel confident in the idea that I would still play him over a Pearsall. Yeah, I'm still going to play Connor and Mason there, Hank. Thank you. Matt sends in a question. Matt Mulugeta says, who won, Bucky JSN Myers or Bijan London Hampton? The side that got Bijan. Thank you. Mitchell Reddick says, in a full PPR, Emeka Egbuka or JCM? As of this week, full PPR, I have Emeka Egbuka ranked higher. Thank you. Nijaz Most says, sup Andrew? Let's see here. Thoughts on Kyron? I hear people saying sell him with Adams getting goal line targets and Corum getting work. You gotta, okay, just remember this really quickly. Adams is always going to get goal line opportunity because he's one of the best one-on-one receivers. Corum only got rushing opportunity last week because they wanted him to score. Literally prior to Corum scoring, they were already up 2 scores and Kyron had the rushing attempt prior to him. So they gave Kyron the attempt. He didn't get in. They're like, all right, let's get Corum his first touchdown. And even McVay prior to the game was like, yeah, we want to get a little bit more workload at Corum. I think it was just a matter of like, you're up multiple scores. They want to get him that workload. Now, I'm not saying that Kyron is like free of risk. He certainly has risk of volume, share kind of getting taken away from him by Corum's effectiveness, but I'm not at the position to where I'm like selling him for free. I would try to wait for a big performance, then ship him off accordingly afterward. I'm not sending him yet. Mike Slots sends in a question. Says PPR Jacoby or Chuba? In a full PPR scoring format, I'm still going to stick with Chuba Hubbard. Thank you. We move on to Jorge, who says full PPR flex Devontae Smith, Troy Franklin, or Wan'Dale Robinson. I would prefer to play Wan'Dale Robinson. John Garcia says Diggs, Chubb, or JMO. I would play JMO over the group. We have Frank Grillo. Frank, hope you're doing well, my good sir. Says PPR, Murray or Jones. As it currently stands on screen, I have Daniel Jones 1 spot ahead of Murray. That's where I would go. Daniel Jones. Indiana Jones. Denver or Tampa Bay. I'd rather play Tampa Bay's defense. Devontae Adams, Jameson Williams, or Wan'Dale Robinson. Pick 2 for the flex. I'm playing Adams and Wan'Dale Robinson in a full PPR. Thank you. Stephen Hensley says Goff or Stafford. I'd rather play Goff. Ian sends in a question. Ian Salinger. Pollard or Marvin Harrison? 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Ian, you only mentioned 2 players. If you can do me a favor, I think you're probably missing 1 player in the mix here. Let me know who is that player that you're missing within this question. I appreciate it, my man, because, I would assume that there's some other options available here, unless it is just picking 1 player between the 2 of them. If so, you could just let me know in the live chat via just giving me more context. I appreciate that. Adam Amar says, how do we feel about Tank Bigsby in a full PPR dynasty? He plays behind Barkley, so I'm not feeling too good about his potential. Again, the only reason they traded for him is because, of course, Will Shipley fractured his ribs in week 1, so that's why. John Abruzzo says, Ricky, Debo, James Conner, full PPR, only 1. I think I'm still sticking with James Conner there. I could justify playing Ricky Pearsall, but I'm going to stick with James. Max says, trade my Judy for Golden. Golden seems sketch. He is sketch. Again, once we get Christian Watson back, I don't know if Golden has enough of a personalized role within the offense for me to feel comfortable regarding it. So I'm okay with Judy. I think I'm okay with Judy as of right now. Nick sends in a question, says Hurts or Herbert. I'd rather play Hurts, but they're very closely ranked. Kamara or Chase Brown. In a full PPR, give me Kamara. Thank you. Gog sends in a very generous super chat. Says my Patreon account got locked as my Patreon payment did not go through for some reason, I think. Here is at least 1 month. Thanks for the great content. Also, sit 1 between Hubbard, Chase Brown, Chase Adams, Kamara, and London. Gog, if you can do me a favor, there's an email down below in the description. If you want to shoot me an email there, I may be able to help get your Patreon unlocked for the future, if that's something of interest. So shoot me an email there. Otherwise, thank you very much for the super chat. In regards to your question, if we're sitting 1 of these studs, and again, you got a lot of really good players here, I think your sit this week is Devontae Adams. It's either Devontae Adams or Chuba Hubbard. Are you playing in a full PPR? You are. So between Devontae Adams and Chuba Hubbard, Chuba is my lowest ranked player. Those are the two lowest ranked of the bunch. And I think Chuba is the odd man out. In the event in which he doesn't find himself with that receiving touchdown this week, it makes him a little bit of a less upside play in comparison to Chase Brown, Kamara, London, and Adams. So Hubbard's my sit this week of the bunch. Thank you, Gog. And let me know if you want to go ahead. Just shoot me an email if that's something of interest. Thank you. I appreciate it. No Love Matt says half PPR Baker or Herbert. Give me Herbert. JC sends out a question. Says full PPR Pickens, Wilson, Ridley, Jalen Warren, 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. I would suggest playing Jalen Warren alongside of Garrett Wilson and George Pickens. Ridley's the sit. Thank you. KJ says Mahomes or Herbert. Mahomes is the play in a 6-point per passing. Ooh, you know what? Yeah, I still play Mahomes there, KJ. Thoughts on Mariota? I got very good thoughts on Mariota. He's going to play well. Last season, in the 2 games in which he filled in for Jaden Daniels, he scored 19 and 26 fantasy points. He should be a fantastic play this today against the Raiders. Thank you. We were waiting for Ian to go ahead and give me some more context. Ian, let's see here. Ian says just those 2 for my flex. Okay, Ian, thank you very much. Of the 2 in a full PPR, I currently have it ranked as I have Tony Pollard 2 spots ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. in a full PPR. So Tony Pollard is my suggestion. Thank you. Appreciate it, my brother. All right, we continue on with the next float of questions in which they come in from. We took care of JC. We move on to Jocko, who says, start Rashad White or Marion Hampton. I would rather play Marion Hampton. Thank you. Mighty Mitch. Mighty MF Mitch, by the way. Mother effing. Start Daniel Dimes over Baker. Yes, I would play Daniel Dimes because of the rushing potential upside. It says start JCM Bill over Egbuka in a flex full PPR. No, I would rather play Egbuka there. If you're worried about the snap count, you can make the swap there, but I'm not too concerned about it. I think he'll be in a full go capacity as of right now. The Bass analyst says McConkey or McMillan this week. Honestly, genuinely, honestly, I don't even Yeah, the way that I currently have it re-ranked, I'll take McMillan there this week. Thank you. No AJ Terrell, no Leggett. I think it's all McMillan. Honestly, I kind of want to put in a better play for McMillan, but I think they probably removed his current play. I don't know what his number's at. Let's see. McMillan. They still have him at 3.5 receptions, guys. Like McMillan at 3.5 receptions, I feel like I have to take it. There's no reality in which I don't. I take that with 2.5 receptions from Kamara, and I put a bag on it, I think. I got to do it on my phone, though. I don't know if my PC will let me because I have to allow the location services, which I don't really want to do on my PC because I don't like that kind of stuff. Anyway, continuing on. Sorry about that. All right, we were answering questions. Ronson Castillo sends in a question. Says, hey, Andrew, full PPR. Pick one for the flex. Kelsey, Wando Robinson, JCM. Of the available, give me Kelsey. Thank you. Considering the full PPR. Hakima, long time no see, Hakima. I hope you're doing well, brother. He says the following. Hakima, what is your question? Says in the flex, Etienne, Egbuka, or Sutton? I'll take Etienne there in the flex. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. All right, continuing on. Luis Lucero says Drake May or Daniel Jones. Honestly, I like them both this week. I do prefer Daniel Jones in this circumstance, though. Thank you. I appreciate it. We continue with Philip Zhang, who says Braylon Allen for Woody Marks or Monangai. I would rather pick up Woody Marks today. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. As for your next question, we have Justin Michon, who says, got offered Hill and Pacheco for Hampton and Tet. No, I'd rather have Hampton and Tet. Keep what you have. Kobe sends in a question, says Judkins, Mooney, or Henderson in a full PPR. I believe, let me just check really quickly. I currently, in a full PPR, have Hendo as the highest ranked of the bunch. That's the direction I go in. Thank you. 3.5 receptions on McMillan. And then I also wanted to get Kamara with his 2.5 receptions. Boom. And then, like I said, I'm just going to put a little... Oh, you know what? Where's Ricky P? Hold up. I got to ask Pearsall. Does Ricky Pearsall... Sorry, I'm making plays on the phone. He's at 3.5 receptions. We'll take more on that. That sounds like an absolute steal of a bargain. I got to put a bag on it. I'm just putting 100. I have to. Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit of a... Boom. We're making the play. Okay, continuing on. We had a question that came in from DeRozan, who says Tootin or Troy Franklin. In a half PPR, it becomes very intriguing there as to which way we go about it. Let me see. Where do I have Tootin in comparison to him in my flex rankings? I currently have Troy Franklin ranked higher. That's the direction I go in. Thank you. We continue on with Rockout, who says Stafford or Young as my backup. I would rather pick up Stafford or Young as my backup. If we're talking about rest of season value, Young is the better quarterback. But if we're talking about this week, it's Stafford. Thank you. Joshua Legg says full PPR. My girl needs one flex between Ladd, Brees Hall, Montgomery, or Sutton. Okay, let me see where I have Ladd in a full PPR in comparison to Brees, and then I'll go ahead and let you know right now. In regards to the available options you have to your disposal, I could justify playing Brees there, but I won't. I'm going to play Ladd McConkey out of the group. Thank you. Shark Boy says full PPR. Harvey, Sampson, Tracy, Brian Robinson. Of the available, the highest ranked is Tracy. Thank you. Yoda says Chase Brown or ETN. Give me Chase Brown. SR20 Mar says, out of all the injuries, who do I stash on the IR? Jalen Coker. Thank you. Perry Apal says Garrett Wilson or Ladd McConkey. Give me Garrett Wilson. Thank you. We continue with a question that comes in from Jacob03, who says, I saw Igbuka might be limited in snaps today. Should I consider Tracy, Hollywood, or Harvey? In a full PPR, give me Hollywood. Otherwise, I just keep Igbuka in the mix if it's a half. Thank you. Woo, okay. I think I've caught up. What time is it? 52. Beautiful. Let me get into the live chat. Let me see if I can just start rapid fire answering a lot of your questions. Again, guys, I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Appreciate you guys clicking the like button. How many likes do we have on today's stream today? We've got about 517. If we can go ahead and increase that number, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks, guys. Okay, continuing on. Sit Kyron for Connor. Yes, I would rather play Connor. Pick 2, Kamara or Chase Brown and Kenneth Walker. I will take in a full PPR, Kamara and Kenneth Walker. In a half PPR, Chase Brown and Kenneth Walker, Hubert. Thanks, man. Golden today says, do you really want to start Igbuka banged up over Quentin Johnston? Yes, I do not like the idea of playing Quentin Johnston against the reigning defensive player of the year. LOL forgot to put standard in you're the man. Okay, Jacob, let me see what your question was. It says starting Igbuka. Okay, if we're talking about a standard scoring format, I just play Igbuka in that circumstance. Thanks, man. Hampton, JCM, or Judkins. Hampton, JCM, Judkins. JCM is my suggestion. Appreciate it. Okay. So really quickly before we start, I know many of you guys have asked for this, and I know that I kind of probably should share it just really quickly. So just so we're all on the same page, maybe you can go ahead and potentially follow in some of these plays today. So let's go ahead and let me pop this on screen really quickly, and then I'll continue to answer questions in just a moment. But what we want to do is we want to do this, and then what we want to do is this. Okay, really quickly, just so we're all on the same page. In terms of some of the entries that I made this weekend, just so we're all on the same page. I just made a play real quick. McMillan, Kamara, Pearsall, all going more on these reception counts, 100 for 140. I've made a couple plays. Sutton going more on receptions. Garrett Wilson more on receptions. Nico more on receptions. Then we've gone ahead and made a Tedero, McMillan, and Metcalf on yardage plays. We've made a Kamara receptions, Neighbors receiving yards, Pacheco rushing yards play. We've made a Mayfield touchdowns, Mahomes touchdowns, Prescott touchdowns, Daniel Jones touchdowns play, 7 for 49. We've made a AJ Brown, Mike Evans, BTJ, DJ Moore play in terms of all yardage. Yes, we've made a lot of plays this week. I'm just sharing them as we go. Stafford touchdowns, Scattaboo anytime tutty, and Roma Dunze on his touches overall. We have Juwan Johnson anytime tutty. We have a Carson Wentz rushing yards. We have a Tyrod Taylor more than passing attempts. Again, I'd make some crazy plays over the course of a week. And then we get back to the base of some of these crazier plays that we made earlier this week. Some of the overall, again, you can pause this if you want to go ahead and specifically see what I'm making. I've made so many plays this weekend. Again, a lot of them. You guys know the gist. Getting back to the rest of the questions that many of you are asking, shall we? Thank you. Okay, so we've handled that. We get back to the questions. Bitcoin Bandit 7 says PPR DK Wandell Igbuka. Give me DK Metcalf. Warren or Jawan? Give me Warren. We Buy Home says non-PPR Igbuka or Higgins. In a non-PPR, just give me Higgins. I'll play it safe. NT Basin sends in a question. Says flex PPR Igbuka Hampton Tracy. Give me Igbuka there. Thank you. All right, let's see what the live chat has in store for us. PPR, Ricky over BTJ or AJ Brown. I couldn't. ETN or McMillan. PPR, I'll just take McMillan. Bo Nix or Mariota, give me Mariota. Frenzy 40K says PPR, Connor, Sutton, McLaurin. Connor, Sutton, McLaurin. Give me Connor. Make music. What's up? Hope you're doing well, brother. Fabian says, is JSN playing? I expect him to play, yes. Debo or Brees Hall? Depends on format. If we're talking half, give me Brees. If we're talking full, give me Debo. Keenan or JCM full PPR? Give me Keenan Allen there, Luke. Steven Delatorre, thank you very much, Steven. Says, like, Buka or Judkins or Bill? It depends on format. Full PPR, half PPR, standard. I guess that is like really just the imposing potential factor as to where we go. I think regardless of which way it ends up, unless it's a standard league, I think I'm going Igbuka in majority of these circumstances. Tedero, McMillan, or Ladd, I'd rather play Tet. ETN, Cup, Javante for the flex. Give me Javante Williams there. Karras. Timestamp says ETN or Pearsall in a full PPR. I'm okay going Pearsall there. Ertz or Travion Henderson in the flex. Give me Ertz in a full PPR. Thank you. Kraft or Johnson. I'm okay going Johnson there, just to give Kraft a little bit of a break just in case. Rankings on screen, a lot of the questions can be answered. You're right, Evan. You're right. But hey, listen, people are new. They don't know what's going on. It's early in the season. You know what I mean? No biggie. Kamara or Brown full PPR? I'd rather play Kamara. Denver's defense or the Colts? I'd rather play the Colts. Pearsall or Pollard? Give me Pearsall. Fuck it. Let's go for it. Hubbard or Warren? I'd rather just at that point play Hubbard. Ben McFadden says, Josh, need help? Who's Josh? Says, need a flex. Tillman, quit shot. I'm done. Okay. Of those available options, it's probably just Quentin Johnston and hope for the best. Hey, Andrew, do you like Chuba Hubbard or Kenneth Walker rest of the season? Considering the offensive line concerns that Chuba has, I'd probably go K9. Pollard or Marvin Harrison, PPR, I'd probably go Pollard there. Mike Evans or Garrett Wilson, I think I have them ranked relatively close, but in a full PPR, let me see. Full PPR, I have Mike Evans still ahead of him. Thank you. All right, where are we at? Where are we at in terms of some of these questions? Where are we at? Okay, we got 2 minutes, and we have very little time to answer these questions. DJ Moore or Pollard? We took care of, if it's a full PPR, give me DJ Moore. If it's a half PPR, give me Pollard. ETN or Chase Brown? I'd rather have Chase Brown. Kamara, ETN, Javante, start 2. Kamara and Javante. Scatterboo or Jawan Johnson in a half PPR? Give me Jawan Johnson. Ben McFadden says, sorry, I pasted from a different stream. No, you're good, brother. It's all good, man. I assumed it was something of that nature, but it is what it is, brother. Jalen Warren or Ricky Pearsall? If it's a full PPR, give me Pearsall. If it's a half, I'll just take Jalen. Nah, you know what? Let's just play Pearsall regardless. Wandell or Quentin Johnston? Give me Wandell Robinson. Egbuka, Hampton, Pickens, start 2. Give me both receivers in a full PPR. They're Mr. Relentless. Andy says, Andrew, Jalen Warren. Yeah, just give me Ricky P. Ricky Rolex. Flex, Wandell Robinson or Quentin Johnson? Yeah, give me just Wandell Robinson there. It's fine. Jalen Warren, or yeah, we have to take care of that. We're good to go. Ladd or JMO? Give me Ladd. McConkey or Swift? I'll take McConkey. Debo or David Montgomery? Standard league. In a standard scoring format, give me David Montgomery. Why Jones over May? Rushing touchdown upside. Thank you. Alrighty. It is 10 a.m. Kickoffs are about to begin. I appreciate y'all coming through. I appreciate y'all being patient. I appreciate y'all supporting the channel as much as you guys have, and continue to do so. I love you guys. I'll be back tomorrow talking about all things waiver wire. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow night after the Monday night matchup between the fire-up fantasy game of Baltimore versus the Lions. Again, thank you guys. Appreciate it. DJ Moore or Hollywood? Just give me DJ Moore there. Appreciate y'all. We're going to have a great week here. Hopefully no injuries. And hopefully we all find ourselves winning for fantasy. That's going to cover me. That's going to cover for me today. Enjoy your red zone. Enjoy your upcoming matchups. Enjoy your rest of your Sunday. And until next time, I'll see you guys. Peace.